What is that sound anyway? How do you even make that? It's got to be like a little noise machine that he has.
He's got all sorts of tricks.
Well, it's the Spike Jones opening songs. That is a band, of course, very close to our hearts.
Very near and dear.
Yes.
LCD sound system.
Who doesn't like them? Well, I guess a huge majority of Americans, but that's true of any band. You know what I mean? It's the funniest thing in the world when you think, what's the biggest selling album? And then you're like, yeah, and then 330 million Americans never bothered buying it.
They just didn't care.
They didn't care. So no matter how big you are, more people dislike you than like you or don't know you.
You should find comfort in that.
I guess. It doesn't seem that comforting, though, does it?
It is to me. It feels so cozy.
It's so nice when people don't like you. Well, Chris Stanley will give away a prize if someone's going to hate has got to hate. That's his thing. Is why we don't do contests anymore.
Right.
Because the backlash that we get every time we give out a prize is just tremendous.
There's more losers than winners, unfortunately.
It's true. It's another thing that we're going to have a contest that most of you are going to lose. They don't even say that with the lottery. Here's something that you have no chance of winning, really.
It's probably
mathematically.
Nope, not going to happen.
Any high school teacher will try to sit there and tell you why you have a better chance of being, hitting the dick with lightning than you do really in the lottery. But then you're just like, but someone's got to win, right? Someone. I even lessen my chances by not giving them money. So I'm going to do it.
I was looking up odds recently and I can't remember the exact number, but hit by lightning is not as big as I thought.
1 in 3. It's like 1 in 3.
It's actually, it seems kind of likely that it could happen, actually.
I've known plenty of people who've been hit by lightning. I'll tell you, I'll just give you a guess here. One of them did a Recine unmasked.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Let's guess. Let's see if you can guess.
Chris D'Elia.
No, Chris D'Elia was never hit by lightning.
That was my guess.
That's a good guess, but he was not hit by lightning.
Jim Gaffigan?
No, Jim Gaffigan. Why? Because of the hair.
No, that's not why. That's not why.
Not hit by lightning.
I remember.
Who?
I remember, though, from The Unmasked. It was mentioned in The Unmasked, correct?
That I'm not sure of because I never pay attention when people are talking. So,
was it Barry Crimmins?
Barry Crimmins was hit by lightning while tripping.
Yes.
To make it extra fun.
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
But I had a couple of people that had done my radio. Well, see, in Florida, most people get hit by lightning at one point or the other. And a lot of time when you say you were hit by lightning, you were just hit in the area that the lightning hit. You know what I mean? But I've been down on the beach in Florida where everyone's hair starts to go up in the air and everyone's like, get off the beach! It's coming in seconds! And then just, goosh. But there was a case of a guy in Florida, I remember doing this, that he's out on a boat in the Tampa Bay and, a lightning storm starts and he stands up and he goes, come on, God, hit me, and boom. He gets hit by lightning, and all the religious people said, say, don't. And we're like, if we could all do it right now, we wouldn't get hit by lightning. This dude was high above the water, not paying attention to regular lightning things. But there's people in Florida that have been hit, like on golf courses, in a blue sky. It'll be a blue sky, no, storm coming, and just lightning will boosh.
Yeah, well, you've got that lightning rod in your hand.
I guess if I could come up with some kind of non-lightning putter, I'd probably be a wealthy man.
All wood? Plastic putter?
Well, I don't. Yeah, neither wood or plastic works. There's got to be some kind of new design, some Kryptonian metal that Superman couldn't use. But no, wood we're not looking for. This isn't 1906.
Could look really cool. Like maybe bamboo.
All right, a bamboo or
a Singapore cane.
Just a pool stick. I'm going to grab my chipping stick right now, and off I go. They're saying no one's playing golf anymore. It's down to the point where they are trying to come up with ways to make golf more fun. And one of the ways is a gigantic hole, so everyone will do a lot better.
Seems very difficult.
The game is expensive and it's hard.
Yeah, it's a rich man's game.
Well, there's a lot of public courses now. It's not like, 1950 when you played, but it sets you back. Everything is expensive about it. And it's no fun. I mean, it's just frustrating for everyone. Even the best players are like, I hate this game. Driving me nuts. Should be so easy.
Golf, just like skiing, has that thing where it's very expensive and you're also thinking, and I probably won't be that good at it. So it's going to cost me a lot of money to find out that I'm really bad at golf.
Well, why don't we come up and just have one of the hills at every ski place is just for sledders. I mean, just everyone can sled.
Oh, yeah.
You just lay down, point. We laid down for a while and it was so much fun.
I went to the Poconos a couple winters back for a weekend and I didn't even ski. We just went on just like this big tubing mountain. Us and a bunch of kids. Yeah. It was a blast.
Yeah, sure. Tubing's fun. Oh, yeah. It's nice. You just get an old tire tube.
Yeah.
And off you go.
Very reasonable.
Tubing is the only sport that works in the water and on a snowy hill.
Yes.
You don't see people skiing down a river.
Mm-mm.
No, can't do it.
Water ski, though. Uh-oh.
What do you mean, uh-oh? I'm in trouble. I'm in no trouble for this. No one can come in here and take my show away because I didn't come up with water ski.
Can you dump that out for him?
No, leave it. I want to show people that sometimes things come up after the fact. I'm fine with it. Try skiing without a boat pulling you. That's my point. No, I changed my mind. Dump out of the past.
It's too late now.
Go all the way back to LCD, and I'll start from there. Oh. There's Joey Jojo found this thing that's up on the iBank today about a new kind of yoga that I would refer to as ho yoga, but they're calling it thrill yoga. Is that the name of it?
Trill yoga.
Trill. I will show some of the pictures, Chris. And what it is, it's just trying to sexualize yoga as much as you possibly can. And then this girl, I don't know, it looks like she's trying to bang an acrobat. I don't know what she's after there. But that's a lot of thigh. That's more thigh than butt, if I'm going to be totally honest.
There's a decent amount of thigh there, yeah. You need the strength in the lower half in order to pull something like that off. So what is
By
trill?
the way, the lower half is what we refer to as legs. I don't know if you're new to planet Earth.
Don't dump out of that. I'm proud of what I said.
I'm having some lower half pain and half of my lower half, the bendy part. We have knees for everything.
So what is trill? Because as of right now, it looks like semi-nude yoga.
Here's what it is. It's fucking another thing that Lululemon is pushing to these women and look. So now they're just hoeing around town.
Right.
One of them's on the subway, though. That's kind of nasty.
Everybody does the thing on the subway. I was walking home the other day, and this girl was posing the subway steps where they're standing on the rail. And I'm like, I said to the photographer, I go, do you know how many times this shot is out in New York now? It's constant.
Yeah.
There's nothing new about this. It's hack, my friend. Hack, I tell you.
Hack at best.
Wow, she's got a long lower half, that chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, her lower half just goes on and on.
But why being mostly nude? How is that anything
because
different?
No one else would look at them.
Right.
That's the whole point here. That's like if you went to a titty bar and like, why so naked with this? Put on some clothes and the dancing is just as fun.
Now, I wonder what actual yogis think of this, because I know that they had a problem with like hot yoga and all those kind of like trendy, we took an ancient idea and then made it real fun for you.
Well, let me tell this to the yogis. First of all, you stole your entire premise from a cartoon bear. So don't come around here acting like you can tell everybody else what to do. So yoga's been around a long time?
Yes, I don't have the year on it, but it's an ancient art
who's
form.
that there? That's a famous person, right?
That's a Serena Williams.
Okay.
Okay, so she's doing it. She's
ripped.
Look at those abs.
Yeah, the abs are frightening. And now, isn't she going for the full thing in September?
Yeah, Grand Slam within a year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's called a Grand Slam.
Well, no, I mean, they'll say someone hit the Grand Slam if they won all four.
Never.
No, yeah, definitely.
No, because they called it a Tiger Slam and they called hers a Serena Slam. A Grand Slam is all four in the year, right?
Yeah.
Just like why we don't make a big deal out of somebody who goes undefeated over half of one season and half of the next season. A Grand Slam means 1 year. Now, if you're saying, oh, I got four in different years, then you have to make up a special name for it. But when you say she got the Grand Slam, by definition, that means, so we don't, just like we say, they had an undefeated season all in one season. We don't say that. We just say it's an undefeated season. So this is the season, they call it this year the season of the witch. And Serena is going to be the first person to do it since me and a buddy of mine.
Really?
Back in 87.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you have a core like that, so it makes sense.
I have somewhere, I believe there's a core like that underneath of it all. We all have a decent core if we could just get everything else out of the way.
I just can't get to it.
I have a hidden great core.
I have a beautiful body in here somewhere.
Somewhere. And I believe that's true of everyone. Well, and I don't want to get, on PC here. It's true of every Caucasian.
That is getting pretty on PC.
It is. And I got a lot of shit because I went over on Wiki under Caucasian and I put, in quotes, master race. And people are like, where does that come from?
People are so touchy.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Ever since Hitler. By the way, during the Unmasked, I did manage to compare Brian Regan to Hitler and Bill Cosby at different points. And then finally he's like, ease up on us, all right? I got a lot of stuff going on for me right now as the good guy.
Don't need to be associated with that.
No. He doesn't need it at all. All right, this is the Bennington Show on what science tells us is a Thursday. I personally don't believe it because, like Norm Macdonald, I happen to believe in the Lord's Bible. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether you saw Norm last night, but he laid into this local New York comic for doing a Bible joke.
Really?
Yes, it was very fun.
Bible jokes off the table.
It's just not very funny. I don't get it. I don't get where you're going with here. Okay. The joke is up on the iBang right now, and the Norm quote. Rather than go through it all, Chris, because I believe it's the whole show. Do you have the joke that was said? And
he compared the Bible to Harry Potter, and
so that was the joke, not Norm. I got to point out his own reading, Dan.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it. We'll have Joe look it up. Joe, you look it up. Rich has a question for our own Piss Stanley. Rich, what is it?
Hey, Benningtons. I was hoping Chris Stanley could make a pick for the Women's U.S. Open this week.
Staying off of it. Lay off of it, dude. Seriously, I want you to lay off of it.
I have a feeling.
But see, the thing is, I don't want your feeling to go in the opposite direction. So, no, just leave it alone. Carlos.
What's going on, cousin? Yo, Rocky, what do you think about American Pharoah? You think that owner's crazy enough to let this thing keep on going for next year?
Well, I don't think it can be in the Triple Crowns again because you got to be certain 2 years old?
3-year-old.
3-year-old.
It has to be 3-year-old.
Got to be 3-year-olds, yeah.
Oh, shit. What do you think? If they let him go, you think he would do it?
My interest of him was over at the end of that season. I am done now.
I'll never not be interested in American Pharoah.
Did you watch the last race out of Jersey?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Then you got me. You and Bill Murray watched it.
Together, actually.
That would be great.
I wish.
All right, Joe, do you got the joke there? All right, what is it?
We do. All right, so the joke...
Joe hands it off to Dan. All right, Dan, what is the joke then?
The joke, he says, is that...
Who's he?
He got into a fight with somebody...
Who's he?
Harrison Greenbaum.
Say it again.
Harrison Greenbaum is the
Okay,
comic,
Harrison
yes.
Greenbaum was
Yes.
that New York comic.
Yes. He said he got into a fight with somebody and the guy quoted the Bible at him. And it's unfair because if he should be able to quote from his favorite book, then Harrison should be able to quote from his own favorite book. So the guy's like, man cannot live without water, whatever. And he's like, I should be able to say, everybody's a little bit magic. Harry Potter, chapter 7.
All right, so I'm sure it read better at the time, and it's up on the iBank.
And says that it's unfair because one of those stories is a classic about a man who overcame adversity and sacrificed himself for the sake of humanity, and the other is the Bible. A misdirect.
So what was Norm's beef with that then? What did Norm say?
Norm said that he didn't think Roseanne said it was very brave to do a Bible joke, and then Norm disputed that and said that it wasn't brave, and then went off on Twitter and sent a lot of things about him, like at Harrison Comedy. If you say something brave, you won't have everyone clapping along with you, stuff like that.
All right, so the point was none of this is true, and it's all my fault for throwing you guys into a piece that you weren't ready for. But Norm was saying, if you really knew J.K. Rowling, she said, if you read the Bible, you would know how this ends, basically.
Right.
I guess now acting like, but it was, just a nice, uncomfortable moment that was actually far more interesting than the whole show.
Right.
I give him credit for that. Every time Norm says something, you're like, well, that's so bizarre that it takes us out of this kind of G-rated comedy show for a while. Like he said about our friend Joe List, you should just be a writer.
Right. You'll make a great writer.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's a very backhanded thing.
Well, I don't even know if there's any if it's backhanded, it's more just like a smash.
Right.
Like, give someone your material who could deliver it, The opposite of what we just had Joe and Dan do right there.
Right.
I don't know why I even went to that story. That's my fault. Carson is coming back to late night. They're going to put his old reruns on some small channel. I got to look up the name of it. And then also on the iBang, it's the new, it's the Tenet channel. And then there's a new club in New York, over in Queens, seats 30. This is the way comedy is going now.
Yes.
Seats 30 people.
Very small, very not clubbish.
Well, I guess the point is that you wanted to make it smaller and smaller, but this room is like long and thin, and the comic faces the small wall, and everyone's just off to his side.
It seems like that would be a really, really difficult room to work.
I know 30 people, it's like getting up and talking in front of your class in high school. So
show and tell.
Yeah. I think even in the club, you have to raise your hand. But see, they do the same things with restaurants now when they'll act like we have 6 tables and you won't be able to get in for 3 years. And then people are like, but I have to get in. Like I have a thing of I want to go to this club now.
Right.
Because it seems impossible.
It feels very exclusive.
And they also don't put up a sign. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
You need to figure out where it is on your own somehow.
You got to be on the inside for something like that.
Yeah.
It's like a speakeasy comedy club.
Except for comedy is legal. That's the only difference. In a world where comedy is illegal, this club exists.
Almost like a Footloose for comedy.
There are pictures of this for the folks around the country who want to see where comedy's what is the grand opening right now? And there's Judah Friedlander, who's a giant comedian, terrific act. He's up on stage. It's on the New York Comedy Club owners open second NYC venue, which is long. You couldn't put that title in the club.
Right.
It's that long.
But certainly for an audience member, it would be very cool to see a comedian that you love in an intimate setting like that.
Well, this is the point of being in New York City. Louis C.K. is going to do a set in that room.
Absolutely.
Chris Rock will do a set in that room. It's going, probably Seinfeld will do a set in that room. We just couldn't tell you when But if you hang around there long enough, you're going to be like, here comes Seinfeld.
Right.
Can't believe it. And he's like, this glaze is small. How is this a glow? Well, even the big New York clubs, I mean, Caroline's is big. Caroline's is like a big showroom. But after that, the clubs are very intimate. They're much smaller than clubs in the suburbs.
And, I mean, often do you think that comedians find it easier to perform in larger clubs than smaller clubs?
Well, it's a different type of doing well. First of all, the excitement level of a big comic coming into a small room like that is going to work. But you're never going to get the roar that you get from 300 people. You know, when 300 people start to go off when you're killing in that room, you're like, why aren't we recording this?
This is the best night of my life.
Speaking of recording this, we got a new comedy channel right now, Comedy Greats. And tonight, our own Jimmy Norton is doing a countdown of the top 50 greatest stand-ups of all time today. That's Channel 94. You will hear Jim Norton counting them down or counting them up. I'm not sure because I guess you're going to start at 50.
Yeah, you don't want to start at 1.
If you start it prior, oops, I don't want to give it away, but I've seen every other countdown ever done. And doesn't always end with Pryor. Does Carlin ever beat Pryor? Is Carlin always number 2?
I think he's always number 2. I think that Pryor normally holds that one spot.
And yet, if you look at it, certainly Carlin was more consistent. He put out more albums. Right. He did it longer. He focused on stand-up instead of really a lot of bad movies. Yeah. I remember Albert Brooks said one time, he goes, like, if an alien came here and they only saw Richard Pryor's movies, they wouldn't think that he was funny. And first of all, I'm like, what alien is immediately going to sit down and start critiquing comedy?
Show me the Pryor films.
Need to say, I don't get it. The toy, and this is the funniest human, and we'd have to be like, easy, Zapbot. Here's what we're trying to say. He also did stand-up. That's really good. Not from what I can see. No, wait. Superman 3. Dog shit. Yes. No one said it wasn't, but he's reading a script there. You've got to see him do his material.
I wish they'd just give him a chance.
Still, if he's so funny, why did he accept these movies?
It's a very hard thing to explain to you.
Money.
Alien.
I know you don't have money on your planet, but we do. We do all kinds of stupid things for money. Look, see? Money. Remember when Elliot kept trying to... See? And he's showing him his toys. Well, you talk about confusing a fucking alien. Start showing him toys. Too soon.
What do you think of this?
Yeah.
I just think of everything as weird.
Fight. That's not fighting. They would just get here and consider Bruce Willis like a fucking mass murderer. Then when they actually met Bruce, I'm like, easy. No, he's an actor. No. He pretends to kill so we can look at it.
In the movies.
Yes. Movies aren't real. No, I told you earlier they're not. You're so fucked up. You know that? I don't know how you got here from another star system. So anyway, that's all starting today.
Very exciting.
Comedy Greats. I feel sorry for the comedians who don't make Comedy Greats.
Yeah. They're like, what am I? Comedy okays?
Yeah. Emo Phillips is like, this isn't fair. I mean, I'm just assuming they're not putting Emo on there. He belongs on there.
Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. It was up to me, Emo and Judy Tenuta both would make it. I don't understand why there's some channels. I find Emo to be hilarious. And one time I saw him back up fucking the Pro Football Hall of Famer, Tony Dorsett.
Really?
Yeah. Because Emo, this is in Florida, and Tony Dorsett had just come in and done our show for something. I forget. He was with his buddies. And then Emo was coming in next. They were passing each other in the hall. And Tony Dorsett said to his friend, that's the ugliest chick I've ever seen in my life. And fucking email spun around on him. And like, we even called Tony later at the Denny's when he was eating and made him apologize. No, you said it. Tony just says like, look, man, I don't know where this is going, but sorry. You know, made a mistake.
It's a formal apology.
Woman. I thought you were a really ugly woman.
That's all.
Fuck you. This is all getting weird, spinning around.
Even if it was, you still shouldn't say it.
Yeah, I know. Even if you're correct, Tony, it's still the worst thing to say.
It's awful. In earshot.
I wonder what percentage of things that we think should never be said.
Yeah.
I mean, a great ass has to be at the top of it. There's no way even to be complimentary about someone else's body.
And yet, it's constant.
Yeah. I don't even think you should bring up someone's new haircut.
It's not a good idea. It's better just to leave it alone.
Well, I notice women do it with each other with a lot of comfort. But if a man says it about a woman, it isn't taken that way.
Yeah, but I think that women do it from a different understanding. Like, it's a way to like relate to one another. So it's like you tell her you like her bag, and then she says, "Oh, those are cute shoes," and now you're like, "We're friends."
I don't understand that.
Weird.
You know that makes no sense.
I know.
What are you complimenting? The person's style?
Yeah, because style. I mean, I would feel just as uncomfortable if a woman said to me, like, "Oh my God, your eyes," or like, "You're beautiful." I would be like, that's weird. I don't know why you're saying that to me. But style, for some reason, I think women think is like saying that's something personal about you, about your personality and the way you express yourself. So I think women use that as a way to say, like, I'm connecting to you. And
well, like, I'll say to Stanley, I go, you went deep into the hamper today. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I believe it's a bad thing.
You don't want any comment about you at all. I'm serious. Do you want any compliments on the way that you look?
No, if I get one, I'm like, what? I feel it's uncomfortable. It's awkward.
You made a very uncomfortable moment. We had a little pre-show meeting, and it came up about you, the amount of free time that you seem to need in your life, and that you didn't answer texts.
You know, Chris.
Yes.
I just need my time. I need the Chris time.
But you do something really, to me, that makes me more uncomfortable. It's not an icebreaker at all. So while one of the VPs was saying this to Chris, I know you're busy, and that's why you're not answering texts, and you need a lot of free time. Chris was using that time to start laughing weirdly. So while this is happening, he just starts going, and he's just laughing, and I'm like, I'm really uncomfortable right now.
That was the most uncomfortable laugh. But
why would you laugh?
When I started laughing, I thought to myself, why the fuck am I laughing? This was the thought going through my head. And then I was like, why is it there's a perception that I need like a bunch of free time?
I like that my uncomfortable way of dealing with that was happening. I just like gently touched Chris's shoulder, like, okay.
And do you remember, did you see what I did? It's true, Chris. You do have a lot of hobbies. I just tried to make it worse and worse. But
so many hobbies.
But the pitch came up is like, you don't have control of your team and you guys aren't working as a team. And he sees you as a lone wolf.
Oh, that shouldn't be seen. Because I'm working on my leadership skills and working on team building meetings.
Why are you saying it like that?
I love the fact that you're not taking the heat like, man, your team stinks. It's like, your team is your fault, Chris.
Yeah. Well,
and that was making me laugh. But you don't hand out stuff. I saw you the other day at that Unmasked. You were a one-man show that day.
Yeah, I did not hand out enough. I didn't hand out much at all to anyone else on the team.
And at one point, I asked Chris a question, right? I turn around and asked him another question. I see him running through the club, even though he had Dan and Joe sitting next to him. And I go, where did Chris go? And then Joe says, do you want me to go get him? And I go, I'm starting this in 3 minutes.
Right.
Chasing Chris should not be. You know what? I'm going to text that too to the VP just so he knows.
Don't.
Hobby boy also.
That's my name now.
But I mean, it seems like you have a lot of
what are these hobbies?
Free time, and you go out to dinner a lot.
I know you're interested in like whittling.
Sure.
Bird watching.
I build models. Like Chad and True Detective.
You're saying that, but we're starting to fucking believe it now. I was at the meeting. It seemed like you have a lot of hobbies.
I don't have a lot of hobbies.
What is a hobby?
Well, when you have free time, Alien bot.
It's Zapbot or something. I
Zapbot.
forgot what we were calling him.
That bot.
I think that's too close to a Zingbot, which is a Big Brother robot that comes out once and zings everybody. But you do seem like you don't answer your text or run your team because you have a lot of free time.
No, I answer my emails and text messages. That's not a problem.
I've been in a lot of meetings before.
Yeah.
You're on the bubble, dude.
That I don't want to hear. Even if it's true,
Yeah.
It freaks me out. Please.
No, luckily, I never have to show Chris in regular guy. I'll call it guy code, just like they do on TV.
Guy code.
I owe him zero loyalty because there was a chance for him to show his loyalty earlier this year, and he, disavowed it. So I could sit in that situation. This is where I would normally cover for one of my guys, and I'll just think to myself, God, he's burying himself with that crazy laugh.
Did the shoulder touch help at least?
I didn't even notice it at the time because I was stuck inside a crazy laugh that was making everyone feel uncomfortable.
Why did you crazy laugh?
I have no idea. I didn't know what to take that comment. I don't think I have a lot of free time that I need to get to.
But so you don't explain that. You just started crazy laughing.
Did you think he was joking?
Why? You've got to return texts though.
I do return texts and I return emails.
But not in a timely fashion, obviously, for it to come up in a meeting.
Well, I have to get back to it faster then. I thought I was getting back with emails, but I didn't realize it was.
That made him think that you have a hobby, building airplanes, model airplanes, not real airplanes. That wouldn't be a hobby.
It'd be a job.
It'd be an industry, actually. Chris is starting a new corporation.
I would actually suggest you focus on that full time. It's not something you want to dabble in.
Got one wing done. It's been 6 months.
So the Raw Dog Comedy Club starts this weekend too, and they've asked us to give them some unmounts that took place in comedy clubs. So we're going to play Mr. Lewis Black from Comics, which we haven't played in a long time, and he's a funny human being, and Jim Florentine from The Stand in New York City. Which was just one of those things that I couldn't stop laughing. First of all, Florentine drives me crazy because his stories make me laugh so hard, and I don't like to be sitting on a stage with a person makes me laugh that hard. It's very,
right.
I felt like Chris Stanley, just the uncomfortable, crazy laugher.
It is an uncomfortable place for you.
But he was fantastic as always that night, and then come to Pop Alive as Matt Damon and Joe McHale from Largo in Los Angeles. That's the trendy hip club.
Yes.
In Los Angeles, California, home of the Doors.
Seems like they're always doing something cool there.
I know, something a lot cooler than us. Like they get Matt Damon and Joe McHale to come in, and they're just live, like we're here live from Largo. Hi, Amy, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, damn, Amy's there too.
And there's Fiona. Paul F. Tompkins be running out here later acting like it's the 1930s.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's much better there.
We're on the wrong coast.
Well, we can move in a heartbeat if you want to go LA bound.
Coast to coast?
Yeah. We're just one coast.
Right.
Let's just go to that coast. There's no sense in making a big deal about where we left.
We're from the other coast. We're currently on this coast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're from a different coast, so if you see us up early in the morning looking for the sun coming up, don't laugh at us. Don't uncomfortably start laughing at us. That's just one of our hobbies. Seriously, your hobbies are insane, dude.
I wonder what they are. I have to figure that out.
Well, we know one that you don't have, and that's leading a staff.
That's my job. That's more important than a hobby.
Why didn't you give them some stuff to do the other day?
Because I thought I had it handled, and I did not.
You always think you're the only one who can handle stuff, and you have a team. Joey Jojo wanted to be your right-hand man.
Yeah.
You wouldn't give him that. But look at earlier when I asked Joe a question, he says, I can't read. And then he gave it to Dan, even without announcing him. That's a guy using all of his resources.
He's resourceful.
I know. I think I just have my resources.
You guys need to go upstate and do that thing where you fall back into each other's arms and you're on trampolines and shit. What do they call that? The assholes do it, salespeople.
I'm not sure, but it's bonding building exercise.
Bonding building. You got a bonding building. Or is that cutting away your hobbies?
Do you feel bonded?
Did you hear the uncomfortable laugh come in?
What hobbies do I have?
Why does the word hobby make you laugh? But you don't say that. You just started crazy laughing.
I know.
And did you notice no one else was? And we're all looking at alarm?
Yep.
And I went like this. Easy, big gal. Easy.
Yeah.
Is it a weekend retreat? Is that what they call that?
It's a retreat.
Well, when we go to the track or Atlantic City for weekend retreats.
That'd be great.
Sounds great.
Here's the thing that's kind of odd. Men handle breakups much worse than women. This has got to be a Chris Stanley title right there.
Yes.
You're the one who came in with that?
Yeah.
Do you believe this to be true?
I don't think so. So the study says that women get over it, will be hurt more at the beginning of the breakup, but then get over it quicker. And then men feel okay about it at first, but then it sets in like later on.
As years go by.
Yeah.
Is it because the women are easier to find a rebound, I wonder?
There is some of that, but I also think that it's easier for women to go, that's done. That's done. And to turn cold. And there's nothing worse than a man saying a coldness in a woman who once brought him warmth. That is chilling. But I also think that men tend to be, as years go by, I don't think they even let go of that first girlfriend. That's what Facebook fucked up for everybody. Because it used to be like, don't go to your reunion, you'll get back together with your high school girlfriend. Don't go to your reunion, dude. She gonna be there with her husband, his fucking kids.
Let it go, bro.
Guys hold on to that type of thing. And Facebook fucking prove like, the 3 o'clock in the morning contacts, just like happened. 20 years later, that happens. 20 years later. Guys like, you know what? I didn't finish that properly. We never perfected it.
How have you been?
I care about your interest.
What are your hobbies?
There should be a thing online that just says he lied. Just at the end of whenever a guy is asking a thing like that. But I think there's some truth that men will keep that small ember burning that women do not. They move on and they start a new chapter.
And use it in the form of, I think, probably depression or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if women are as susceptible to that type of depression where, it's very manic in the moment and it feels very painful.
But they don't carry around the dull thing.
But maybe that has to do with expressing the way you feel in the moment that you feel it. Like, if a woman is more likely to be able to tap into how emotional she feels about it.
She burns it off.
Yeah.
She burns it off, where a man, like I said, it's a slow ember. But if you also see, it's like women make much better widows than men do.
Yeah.
When a dude loses his chick, he's just like kind of gave up on everything. You just go over his house later, just see like fucking newspapers piled up and shit. Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
I actually think people are more sympathetic to men when they lose
because they're pathetic about it.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, how is he? They're just like, oh yeah, she's a widow.
Yeah, she's a widow. She's got so much free time now. She's, she's going with Chris Stanley and doing hobbies. But a man will be like, Pop, did you eat anything today? I had some tequila and walnuts.
I'm worried about him. He can't eat tequila and walnuts. That's not enough.
I started firing the gun in the house. Sometimes I wonder why I just don't step in front of it. Yeah, I got rid of the table and I put a rowboat in there. I don't know. I guess I was drunk. I'm going to paint it.
Looks good.
Just go over to the guy's house and there's a fucking boat sitting in the kitchen. Ah, fuck. I don't know how he's doing. It's not easy on men. They don't know how to. They don't know how to pull it back together. Because you doing all right with everything? Thought I was done thinking about shit like that. I guess God hates me. Fuck him. You're like, easy, dude. Let's take care of the years you have. That's why people try to fix men up immediately. Like they'll try to fix him up at the funeral because they know he's a fuck up.
Oh, yeah. They're basically looking for a nurse for that person.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Full-time nurse or a new wife, doesn't matter. Like even their kids are trying to find him somebody right away.
Dad needs someone.
He needs someone to chop and jack him off. Lord knows I don't want to do it.
Do you think women feel that way more so than men? Like if they think about themselves passing away before their partner, they're like, oh, I hope they find someone else. Where a man's like, I would probably, they don't even think of it. Just like,
yeah, like men will be like, promise me you won't be with anyone.
Just wear black.
I won't. Sure. I'll wear black every day.
Every day.
And, spend more time on some of my other interests, Like I'm in a crochet club right now where we get together and crochet.
Good. Only with other women, right?
But men are just like, it's like you go over to try to meet them, you see the blinds open a little bit and then shut because they don't want anybody coming over. Just a shot over your head to let you know, back
leave
off.
me alone.
You were here 3 years ago. Now you're bothering me again. You're just out in front. You're Bob? Bob? You smell death? Maybe he died in there a while ago. I don't know. Guys just fucking sitting and watching Bar Rescue one after another.
The dark.
Yeah, it's always in the dark. The only light is just from this fucking Pall Mall that just lights up and goes down. Everyone goes, fuck it.
All I have is my program.
None of my shitty kids come over because they're assholes. I had a dog, but I shot it. Kept looking at me. Reminded me of my late wife, so I blasted it. You're just like, you doing okay? And you just see this messy house, and then there's fucking, the pictures of the wedding just sitting around on a kitchen table. Oh, fuck. He's like a piece of shit now. He's got nothing going on.
Did he brick up the windows?
Thought I'd break up the windows to keep it nice and warm in here.
It's August.
Hey, Rick. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I lost my wife to cancer in '01, and this subject came up about her last 6 months where she was bound and determined to find my next wife. She didn't want to die without knowing that there was going to be somebody that clean up after my messy ass.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
I think that women think that. It's like
they think that because they know it. It's just a true fact.
And one day we got up and she said, let's go coffin shopping. And I'm like, I don't want to do this.
Well, we got to take care of everything.
Women are so different than us. You would be surprised that when you look at death imminently, how people change and what it is that becomes important to them. It's really interesting.
Well, I think women are much more likely to see the world outside of them and see themselves part of something. And a guy just thinks it all ends at the end of his nose and dick. That's just that's the end of any existence that matters.
That's my world.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like I think.
But of course she wanted to go coffin shopping because she didn't want you to throw her in a goddamn trash bag at the last minute. Like, I got something around here. I don't know what it is exactly.
You need to take care of this list.
Yeah.
It's at the top of the list.
Right. I don't know if a guy's ever had a list, does he? Like things to do?
All I have is lists. Love a list.
Women love lists.
I wake up, it's like the first thing I do.
Yeah. Chris doesn't even answer his texts.
Yes,
I know.
VP. From VPs.
I do text. I do answer him back.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say that.
That was what was going through my head when the crazy laughter was happening.
But why wouldn't you use that as a business thing? This is why they're not interested in you on the corporate track.
Because of the weirdness and awkwardness.
Yes, because of the weirdness and awkwardness. The fact that you even had to say that. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. You know who checks in like that is autistic kids. They're just like, well, because I'm not socially interacting, or am I socially interacting properly? People who actually are comfortable in that never have to ask, is this a comfortable exchange?
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'm higher on the spectrum than I thought I was.
No, I don't think so. You just proved that you weren't. Rex Ryan went and got the jawbreaker from the Jets within 24 hours. The guy who smashed the quarterback's jaw and broke it, Rex Ryan was like, I want him here with us.
That's my guy.
Yeah. Now, I brought this up to Gail yesterday, but at no point has anyone not blamed the victim in this.
Right.
Everyone says it's his fault.
Yeah, because he would give a persona that would allow him to be punched in the face.
Does that seem crazy to you?
A little bit, yeah, but I understand where you're coming with it, but if somebody's crazy enough to break someone's jaw, I don't know how in tune with like social cues they're going to be anyway.
Well, you have to also remember, someone crazy enough to do that, that's the job that these people have. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, like if you go, well, what kind of person would hear a noise somewhere and pull out a gun? I don't know, a cop. You know what I mean? Like they're raised in a world where you physically deal with things.
Right. And aggressiveness is championed.
And yet you don't punch a coach. Why? Because he's your leader and you realize that. This guy did not set up a leadership persona. And by the way, Geno Smith, for $600 could have be working the next fucking 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Pay the guy to $600. Don't be so cheap. That'd be like you handing fucking Chris Stanley $1.50. It wouldn't change your life at all.
And I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, but there's times that you're like, I'm not giving him that $1.50. I'm going to make a stand here.
It's ridiculous.
You know? Well, then be used to fucking crazy laughter in your face. Because that's what he's going to do.
I am used to
wow.
it.
I didn't even know this. 3 new accusers for Cosby?
Yes, that's right. 3 new people step forward.
Wow. I wonder how many more are out there. Well, he's not getting that sweater shown off the way he wanted.
Nope, that's been pulled.
See, that cost you?
Quietly pulled.
They're also saying that Cosby said that he had holy sperm, which any Catholic would know is not true because we didn't even need holy sperm the first time. God didn't use the sperm. And apparently Jesus never unloaded that stuff.
Yeah, there's never been a holy sperm. Was it he was confused that his sperm?
But here's the thing. There's a holy egg, if you think about it. That egg itself was blessed in the womb. In the sacred womb of Mary.
Yes. So clean and virginal.
Yeah. Never touched. Never once touched. Then after the fact, go ahead.
Yeah, of course.
Then it's up to you. Have the other kids. The half children.
This is something that's always crazy when I hear somebody thinking she's maintained. No, it's just initially. She was able to go on and...
well, when she married Joseph, sure, you got to do the right thing.
She was free to do what she wanted.
Yes. Her choice. Her way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which,
yeah.
You know, she was very young. It's not a hard feat at her age. I think she was like probably 12 or 13, right? Wasn't she?
Yeah, the very beginning ages in those days, which, you know, when people live to be 28, you want to start a family by the time you're 13.
Right.
You know,
at least get on this.
Yeah. At least get them till when they're 13 and they could start their own families.
Going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah. The entire, if I grew up in Bethlehem or Jerusalem back then, all I'd be saying is, it's so hot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're saying dry heat, but it doesn't help me at all. It's still hot. If someone asked me to come over to their house, I'm like, later, after it's dark, and it starts to cool off a little bit. But I'm not walking out in that afternoon heat. Mm-mm. Just so, see Jesus yesterday? Not during the midday show. I'm going to go at night when it gets a little cooler. I'm like, that dude talks about the weather a lot. Maybe we could all just walk somewhere where it's cooler, like up in the mountains.
Is there a place with a better climate or
Hawaii? But we haven't heard of that yet. And there's nowhere to get there. I'd be trying to float away on this cross. It would be so hot in that place.
That'd be the first thing I'd be talking to Jesus about. Can you teleport us to some...
Can you just change the weather to make it a little more acceptable? Because it's hot here. And all I have is these sandals, and this sand is burning hot. If one of my toes even gets off, it's like someone lit a fire there. It's like a match, even though we don't have matches yet. But imagine we had a portable way of, having fire. That's what it feels like on my toes. I'm walking around in this long man dress, I'm thinking about coming up with a cool out or something just for this time of the year, the 11 months of the year that it's unbearably hot in the desert. I wouldn't be able to stand it. And I'd just be like, I tell people, I go, everywhere I go, it's going to be with a bucket of water. To try to fight off some of this heat.
Sure.
I wanted to get a cool drink, but we don't even have ice here, which is crazy. I mean, a warm drink doesn't feel good to me.
It's like Canada.
It's not going to quench the thirst.
Someone tried to give me hot goat's milk yesterday. 12:30 in the afternoon. It's fucking terrible. And then it's fish, always fish. I could have something else.
Pork or something?
I wanted fruit, but seasons. We have to pay. Everything's seasonal here. Hey, Bob in Texas. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Ronnie, I was just wondering if you thought if God was a pedophile since he impregnated Mary at age 13.
Dude, first of all, I don't even need Norm Macdonald here to tell you that that's the most blasphemous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, the age of consent was like 9 back then.
Yeah, and, he didn't do it by physical methods.
No, that's true.
It was the Holy Spirit that really impregnated her.
Well, the Holy Spirit came into her is what happened, literally.
Yeah. So
but it's weird that they still went full 9 months. You think? I mean, now that you're changing the science, you're just going to go, you're having a baby tomorrow, Mary.
Yeah.
I'm an angel.
And really put her at a risk when you think of it being pregnant and unwed.
Yeah, but she had such a glow that Joseph picked up on it.
Yeah.
He's like, let me step in here. And he was an older dude, too. He wasn't a young guy. I think he was late 50s.
Right.
He's ancient. Well, people still lived to be 80s then. It's just like not everyone.
Right.
So you'd have like a whole tribe of people. Most of them are in their late teens and early 20s, and then one dude's 75. And he's like, look, I know you guys are fired up and you want to go start a war, but I've seen this before. There's the uncomfortable laughter when I'm telling you the exact truth of the way it went down. This is exactly what happened. That's why they would go, let's go to the elders, and they're like, yeah, I remember a tornado. You know what I mean? And they would just tell people, it came from you guys gossiping. That's why we have tornadoes.
That guy is really old, though, right? Like 4 times older than us.
But I bet it was nice just to have him there, somebody who knew stories.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would have no connection.
No connection to the past whatsoever. Those were the storytellers because they had lived life. They had experienced things, and they could just tell people all the time. This isn't new. This thing that's going on right now that feels so new to you, no.
Huh, thank God you're here, because my mom died when she was 16, so wasn't getting that.
Many years ago, people had mullets. It was a sport look. Some people called it a soccer cut. Brian Regan, somebody was busting his balls about the mullet, and he goes, look, it wasn't a mullet when I got it cut that way. He said it's the only haircut named after the fact. And I'm like, that's so fucking true.
No one was asking for a mullet.
No, they would either call it a sports cut or a soccer cut because a lot of hockey players had it.
Yeah, hockey cut.
Yeah. And they're just like, I don't know, cut my hair like a hockey player. How does that sound? I want to go to work, and on the weekends I want to fucking go see Bon Jovi. Is that so hard for you to understand?
Everyone's doing it.
Yes. I look ridiculous if I don't have it. If I had any hair over my ears, people are mocking me. Like, why don't you mullet that?
Why is your hair so short in the back? The back and the front are too equal to each other.
Can you do a reverse mullet where you just have this cascade of hair down your face and very tight in the back?
That's like the emo look. It's like the teardrop look. It's the reverse.
By the way, which is far more embarrassing than a mullet. And those people used to make fun of, like, seeing pictures like he had a mullet back then. and they've got hair over one eye. Like a fucking scary vampire.
It's a pretty cool look.
Only at the time. Any fashion only looks good of the time.
Oh yeah, it looks terrible very soon after.
Yeah, then it looks ridiculous, and then a next generation will go, that was fucking cool what they were rocking back then.
I really like what they were doing.
Yeah, I'm going to do that now. The tie is the funniest thing of whether a tie is thin and then people get laughed at, or a tie is wide and people get laughed at.
Right. When the Mad Men skinny tie came back, suddenly they were looking 5 years before, being like, look at their stupid fat ties. It's so dumb.
But that skinny tie came in the 60s, then went out by the late 60s, was back by the 70s and 80s, went out again.
Yeah.
It's like constant. And you know who's doing this shit is fucking tie makers. Like, we're not moving enough ties. Let's tell people they're wearing the wrong kind of tie. Make them fatter. You heard me. Thought we were laughing at fat ties. Not anymore. Now we love them.
Nice and big.
The only thing that I find never to be acceptable is wearing a string around your neck and saying it's a tie.
The bolo.
Yeah. That's not a tie.
You don't like a bolo.
Well, first of all, it isn't even a matter of whether I like it or not, which I don't. But it's not acceptable to call that a tie. I'd rather call a kerchief a tie because at least it's in the tie family.
What about in True Detective? He was rocking a nice bolo. Did you enjoy that?
Exactly. And that made me think that he was insane.
It's more of a necklace than an actual tie. It's a bolo necklace.
And yet, there's no real necklace that's acceptable to wear for a man to wear outside of the shirt, or to say, this is my formal necklace.
Right.
I must have a tie here. Oh, I didn't see that necklace you were wearing. Go ahead. A necklace should be worn inside of a man's shirt.
I do like that oftentimes, though, they got the nice silver tips. That's pretty cool.
I guess if you're a cowboy, I mean, I'm going to accept it in cowboy places.
Right.
But you can't go walking into a fucking restaurant.
Everyone else is wearing a tie.
I'd say, this is my tie.
This counts.
You're a fucking idiot. No, it's not.
This counts. You're
okay, Red Rider? That isn't fucking shit. Troy wants to defend the mullet. Go ahead, Troy.
Hey, good afternoon, folks. It was in 81 when I got my hair cut. The woman that cut my hair said it was a Rod Stewart haircut. We didn't have that sports cut or whatever you called it earlier. I was told I had a Rod Stewart haircut.
Well, if you really look back, the initial mullet, you could say that Bowie's kind of Ziggy Stardust thing was mullety. And that's how long people teased around the mullet before they finally just said it's an acceptable way to wear hair.
And that version of the mullet had a quick comeback when I was in college, and everyone was like calling them like fashion mullets.
Okay, fashion mullet.
Like in a fashionable way, like Bowie wore it. I mean, he pulls it off.
I don't think there's ever any time that you can wear a big circle on your forehead.
I don't know.
I'm so sad that went out of style.
Or a lightning bolt across your chest. You ready to go out party? Still working on the lightning bolt on my chest.
God.
Just can't pull it together properly.
Take forever.
I like that Chris was acting it out for us. Chris, I saw one of there's a favorite topics there's a documentary. I think it's called The Deep Web or something like that.
Yeah.
But it deals with Silk Road and Bitcoin, which Chris used to bring up every fucking day.
Really?
And now that's all gone. Is there any kind of other places that you can Silk Road it without using the old Silk Road?
No, the old Silk Road got shut down. That dude.
I understand that, but is there something new?
Yeah, there's a couple other sites popped up, and a couple have gotten shut down since. But yeah, now they got someone, whatever mysterious person out there, is still putting up sites for people to buy drugs.
Now you said that your deal was that a lot of times you go to the deep web yourself to look at stuff.
Yeah, you go into it's because you have to use some kind of like special like browser called the Tor browser. It's yeah.
That's exactly what they were talking about.
Real deep.
Yeah, and you go deep and you enjoy it there.
Yeah, it's fun.
Well, what do you see? What happens that you're going to?
There's a lot of like Well, there's a lot of like the drug eBays out there, and they also sell like weird equipment that's illegal, basically, and like cell phone jammers and shit like that, and like credit card machines.
It's hacker stuff.
It's very hacker.
Well, one of these things is you could actually get assassinations. You know what I mean? There's assassins who go in there. But the other thing they said is the second that you download that Tor thing that you do, you're being watched.
Oh, Jesus.
A little bleep goes off and you're being watched.
Yeah, so that seems like it would be against the whole idea of the deep and dark web. Like,
yeah,
they said there's more deep web than the web that we go to on Google.
So
there's
we're dealing
more underneath.
Tip of the iceberg situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a subterranean thing, and now you don't buy any of those things, right?
No. I mean, you have to have you have to buy through Bitcoin or whatever, and the Bitcoin thing proved that you can find people out because the dude who ran the Silk Road got busted.
No, I've never really
was going to get busted.
Understood the Bitcoin thing exactly.
It was just their version of a dollar.
Right.
Yeah, it's internet money.
They just said, this is what we're all going to, I paid $500 for this coin, so it's a $500 coin. And if I sell it to you, you're going to give me $500. That's all any money really is saying this thing is an IOU. You know what I mean? Right. And we're all going to believe in its value. And the second that you don't believe in the value of any dollar, just everything comes tumbling down.
Right. If this is like, well, this means nothing.
Well, this is if suddenly Macdonald starts saying, we're not taking money, you have to give us something that's worth this, this whole thing would fucking freak out within seconds.
What do they mean by that?
And it happens to money all the time. Or, inflation or deflation, where you're going, well, that thing is not really worth $1, right? But your deal of going down there and the assassins and the drug dealers. And,
underworld shit.
And what thrill do you get since you're not involved, since you don't do this stuff?
It interests me because it actually exists, and it's not unlike like a movie. Like you'd see in a movie, like there's this underworld that you can have access to. And now, thanks to this deep web shit, if you know where to look at for it, you can find access to it. I find it very interesting.
But you
haven't given us a reason yet. And we know that you find it interesting. We're trying to figure out what you do there.
What do you think is the weirdest thing you've come across, or the most interesting thing to you while looking in the dark?
Looking at like these drug dealers, right? And they'll have it's like actual deals. Like you get this amount of much drugs, we'll give you this for free. It's out in the open in this, if you know where to look for it.
Yeah, that's not the open.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you went to a fucking club where there was, you knock on the door 3 times and there's prostitution and drugs that's still not in the open. If you've got to go through some kind of crazy door and up steps and give a thing, you are still underground. It's all underground. There's no doubt about that.
And are they being paid in Bitcoins or using Bitcoins?
It's all being paid in Bitcoins or Litecoin. There's a bunch of other derivatives of Bitcoin.
And then they mail you? Then they mail you your drugs?
And then they mail you drugs, yeah.
But you never want your drugs mailed to you.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no. That's crazy. I know people who do it, and I think it's insane. I think it's crazy that this one guy I know is just getting tons of shit sent to him.
To his home?
Yeah, to his home, yeah.
No, that's not a good idea. At the very least.
Well, right now they all have bigger fish to fry probably than that dude. Right. But what they try to do always, catch somebody, flip them to get them to talk, get that person, flip. Seems like all DEA tries to do is get people to flip, no matter who they are. You get the biggest drug dealer, okay, now you're working for us. Like, what?
We're going to flip you, then we're going to flip your boss. We're going to flip your boss's boss.
So all of us are just flipped at that point?
You're all into it.
Now you're all working for us.
Yes.
Why don't you just lock us up? It seems like you won. I want you to tape him taping you. That's when I know I'm doing a great job.
And at the end of all this, you're going to flip me. And that's how.
Finally, at the end of it. And then we'll start a new game. For this time, I'm hiding from you. Well, you got to watch this. I think it's on Epix, this documentary. And the Silk Road kid, I mean, he was obviously insane. He obviously, when you see the ways that he fucked up and what he was doing, only an insane person would be doing it. And they really believed that they were starting a new economy, one based on drugs.
Right.
And I totally get it. I don't have any problem with people who want to do drugs doing drugs. I think anything but that doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they proved that if you make it an open market, there's no violence involved anymore. The violence comes from the fact that the criminals need drugs because they have to protect themselves from the government. And which means only people who are going to have guns are going to be in that fucking game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like when alcohol was illegal, guys are fucking wandering around with machine guns at the time.
Right. No one's doing that now.
Yeah, no one's. Now it's just a guy drives up and brings some beers to a 7-Eleven. But I think at the end of the day, most people want to be fucked up most of the time.
Yeah.
That's what you find out. Like a lot of the people who aren't heroin addicts have never really tried it. You know what I mean? Like you take a guy like we were talking about Fez, and he's not into morphine except for now that he's in pain. Right. And right away he's
like, this is great.
Yeah, he's bragging about Dilaudid. You know, it's fucking Dilaudid is amazing. Like, yep, that's true. It really feels better than life, doesn't it? But I don't know why we don't want somebody else to do a drug that you yourself don't want to do. Why that would bother you?
Well, you know what's an interesting thing, too, is like you're saying, like, people who haven't tried a drug, and if they tried it, they would be changed. It's almost like most people say they have a certain drug that they're like, yeah, I've done this, but I would never do this.
Yeah, everybody's a spot.
And what you're saying is I don't trust myself. Not because, like, I think I'll immediately die if I take it, but that I don't trust my own ability to handle something that, from what I understand, is too good.
But it's also like you don't like the type of people who do those drugs. So you're like,
right.
I do a lot of coke and I got problems with it, but I'm not some shitty crackhead. Right. You know, it still comes back to that same kind of social caste system that we have.
I can see me huffing gas.
Ugh. Those people.
I have dignity.
Yeah, those people are disgusting. Now I'm going to sit here with my heroin and punch it in between my toes.
Like a real lady should.
Yeah. But yeah, gas huffers, they got to be the lowest of the low. I mean, there's a drug that you can get free. Any of us could huff gas,
right.
And we don't. Mainly because who wants the headache after the fact? I don't. You think a hangover is bad, but a fucking gas headache is ridiculous. Now, there's the occasional person you can't stop from huffing gas.
Yeah,
they'll fucking show up with a can and a fucking breathing mask, and the guy at the gas station says, "Look, dude, you were just here yesterday. I know you don't have a lawnmower. You're fucking huffing this. No. Just for the regular purposes. That's it. Top it off for me."
What?
Yeah, unlet it. Unlet it. But why would we give a fuck? If someone's stupid enough to fucking huff gas until their brain fucking, I don't give a shit. Go do it. I feel the same way about any of that. Go do it if that's what you want to do. You will quit because you can't go on like that forever.
Right. One way or another.
Yeah. I meet a lot of guys now. Some of them are like 70, and they'll be like, I thought booze was cool, but it's not. I'm like, well, it took you fucking long enough. What are you doing? Sipping it like a fucking teetotaler on the way there? Like Chris, he gets so drunk he doesn't even answer his texts.
I know.
I do answer texts.
Do you?
Yes.
Because from what I understand, you don't.
I got to kill this rumor.
Just when you said that he doesn't answer his own text, he panicked and picked up his... I do answer them.
I gotta make sure this text is here.
None right now, so I checked those.
Yeah. Everything's been responded to.
Do you just write ha 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 back on every text? Like you answer your regular conversations?
Sometimes. I certainly don't write LOL. I heard that's bad. Text Facebook.
Why don't you do the old laughing my ass off at you thing?
Oh, LMFAO? I don't want to confuse people with that. They think I'm listening to the band instead.
Liz Sets Fire says, you still watching Mr. Robot? The last couple episodes have been incredible and fucking with my head. I'm going to go back and watch all the other stuff. I just love the show. I love it. I still watch it.
Yes, I do too. Did you watch last night?
I didn't watch last night. I'm up till last week.
No spoilers then, but
it was a great spoiler if you would have watched it.
No.
You
so
can
good.
spoil it for me. It's okay. I'll still go back and watch.
No, because this is a shocking moment. It's a shocking moment.
Yeah.
I really despise how bad that his enemy is, though. Like, I thought that he was going to be the super smart guy. And he's like freak out weirdo.
Yeah, he's losing it. He's losing it.
There's no reason for him to be so shitty at something.
He's a mess.
Just take your time, dude.
I'm not even worried anymore about his influence.
No.
Like, he can't keep it together. There's no way he's going to keep this together.
But I can't say I love it. I don't love it in the way that I love humans.
I'm enjoying it a lot.
My problem is lack of fucking sense of some of these. You know what I mean? Like, I got to have some context that's got to work for me, and it just doesn't here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they go out of their, I don't know, when fucking murders take place, they have to be, if you're setting up that this is this reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not an Arnold Schwarzenegger reality. I'd be like, shouldn't the cops have been around to talk to him by now?
Yeah.
I think this guy's, he's deep web the way fucking Stanley is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of the screenshots actually had him on like deep web sites, like on his computer. Like some of the shots.
Oh, you'd have to be if you're a hacker, right? There's no, you don't Google hacking things. No. You got to go underneath, right?
How to hack.
Oh, that's how.
What are you going to do when the feds show up at your place? Flip, I guess?
Fuck no.
You'll flip like a coin, like a Bitcoin.
That's good.
Flip.
Can't flip me.
Way to turn it all in. Why not?
I'll flip you for real.
I'll do the time.
For who? Who are you protecting?
For no one?
Now, let me just bring this up about Mr. Robot, because I don't want to do it in front of... So, the shock last night, right?
Yes.
Was there even any reason for that? Or any... You know what I mean? Other than being a shocking moment?
Right. I will say, it's like, I thought it was going a certain way, but it did kind of turn it on its ear.
But for no reason.
Right. But
and also, we literally can't trust him at all. We can't trust his version of the truth or his storytelling. So what do you call that in writing where it's an untrustable narrator?
Unreliable narrator.
Unreliable narrator.
Exactly.
So he is that, which makes me think, why should I take anything seriously that he says?
Right. What's real, what's not.
Like, one of the best things that have ever been done with the unreliable narrator. I mean, for me, the one that sticks out is Goodfellas.
Right.
I don't believe a fucking single thing about Goodfellas because I don't trust the person telling the story. It's bullshit.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that it isn't fun and enjoyable. It is. But if someone said, is that the way it happened? I'm like, no. No, it didn't happen that way at all.
Right.
He's lying to us.
He's a storyteller, and he's making it in his defense.
Like, I always thought that Usual Suspects was an exact slapback at Goodfellas. Like, you cannot trust the story you're being told.
That's probably the most famous one because he is narrating through it, right?
I'm not sure if he's narrating, but it's certainly told through
his voice, through conversations with him.
Yeah, through his point. Here's Chris in Houston. Chris.
Hey, Ron. Good day, Bennington. Love you guys. And what's going on, Centaur? I got an idea for Stanley. He's not answering text. Well, he had a hell of a time being drunk, ranting on Twitter. So maybe you just get the VP to talk to him on Twitter, get him drunk, and everybody's happy.
Chris, I did not even know that you had a Twitter account.
No, it was on the Bennington Show Twitter. The Bennington Show Twitter.
During the show?
Over my birthday weekend.
Why would you be tweeting during the weekend when we just tweet during our show?
I got a couple in me, or more than a couple.
That's embarrassing.
More than a couple.
That's embarrassing.
I pretty much, it was brown out into blackout. It began as a brown out, went directly into a blackout. And, I went on the Twitter and said sent some stuff out.
Here's what you got to do before you start drinking.
Yeah.
Let us know that we need to change the account so you can't get into it.
That's a good idea.
Sounds like a good idea, yeah.
Here's Brian in Texas.
Hey, I was thinking an unreliable narrator is Rupert Pupkin from King of Comedy. We don't know if it's just a fantasy that he, after doing his prison stint, writes that book and goes on to fame and fortune, because everything else in his head was a full-on fantasy.
It's an interesting point, except for that is what the world became, right? The world became is that people started to enjoy fuck-ups at least as much as they enjoyed talented people.
Yeah.
I watched that I Am Kate show the other night, and I felt like I was watching pure insanity that had nothing even to do with the fact that Bruce decided to become Caitlyn.
Now, this is the third episode that was on?
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. Where was it similar to the first two?
Yes.
Did she even touch on the...
No, but the fucking way that she treats her shitty assistant, the fact that the shitty assistant is just as fucked up of not knowing when they have a job and when they're a friend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're somebody's assistant, you are not their friend. Period.
Yes. And you have to know that.
Yes. And like everyone else got to eat but me. You see, Bruce doesn't give a shit.
No.
I mean, not Bruce, Caitlyn. But then also Caitlyn, she's just, and it's not because she has gotten changed into half of a woman. It's because Bruce was fucking nuts and now Caitlyn's nuts. And Bruce was annoying and now Caitlyn's annoying.
Right. That's her personality. She doesn't
Bruce
change.
was not a deep thinker. Caitlyn is not a deep thinker.
Right.
Caitlyn wants to take all the other transvestites to go fucking motocross racing. And for whatever reason, everyone buys these expensive costumes for that day. That's just crazy shit.
And what you're saying is still a very, I think, progressive thought, because Caitlyn then has always existed, right? Like, Bruce has always been Caitlyn. And so that's always been Caitlyn's personality.
Caitlyn was always a dick.
Right, exactly.
Before she even got her breast and...
Sure.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to make a big thing about how you look and in your bathing suit and all that, you can't have that man's butt. You can't have a skinny man's butt and be constantly talking about, aren't we hot girls? No. Even if you were a girl, we'd be like, dude, you got somewhat of a man's butt there. I got to point that out to you.
It's not your best asset.
All right, people sending things in, unreliable narrators. Eternal Sunshine. I guess so, just because he was confused.
Yeah.
American Psycho. Yeah, we never know if any of that stuff was happening in American Psycho. Lolita. Yeah, that was crazy. He couldn't have been followed that much. That went on for, that was paranoid.
Totally paranoid.
Big Fish. I believed all that.
It's all true.
Gatsby. Well, the Gatsby thing is pretty confusing because it's being told by the thing of this weird admirer.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought of it as unreliable, but yeah, it is.
You can't rely on anyone who's that big of a fan. You know what I mean? Like, just saying it is all too huge. Greg in Albany.
Hey guys. You know what? This is someone that doesn't have like a narrator type of a part throughout his whole movie, but he is like a narrator within a narrator, and it's Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder in the first one.
Yeah, I don't know if that kid really did blow up, like Blueberry or whatever she did.
You think that was just made up?
I don't think that everyone, that elevator went flying through the sky. I'm starting to think that. Bullshit.
I thought it was a documentary, so that's where I was confused.
I do believe in the later one with Johnny Depp.
Right.
Where he was Michael
That's your
Jackson.
favorite.
Yeah. Because I like the Michael Jackson angle that he laid on everybody. Willy Wonka was so fucking scary, too. That stop, don't. You know what I mean? You're like,
stop, don't.
What is wrong with you? You're not safe around children.
Help.
And didn't any adults win the candy bar?
One guy did, but then they found out he had faked it. Like, they thought he just lied. Someone, I think he was from Brazil or something. It was very confused.
They lie.
Figures.
I don't want to be racist, but those people lie. And there's a lot of handballs down there, and no one brings it up.
No one calls them on it.
And they shop at Walmart. They don't even support the town. All right, there's some new stupid Star Wars pictures out. They're going to put out 1 or 2 a day for the rest of our lives.
Yep. Just a little taste.
And a Pennsylvania beauty queen went around telling everybody she had cancer.
Yes, she decided to fake some doctor's appointments, shave her head, and then raise over $14,000 for herself, and she was finally caught.
That she used on candy and gum. I love those kind of people who make up the fact of, well, there's 2 things that always make me laugh. When someone says they have a disease and then they're not losing weight, everyone's like, that's weird, right? Because my aunt got really sick and this person's getting fatter.
You're eating cheeseburgers.
And I love a girl who says that she's pregnant when she's not.
Oh, yeah.
And then asks for money for an abortion when it never happened.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a great. No one ever says, "Can I go in with you and see the test?"
Let's see this really happen.
So, how much is half in a ride? Oh, you don't need the ride. All right,
even better.
I got my wallet right here, and you're saying that I won't even hear about this again after this.
This will be the last of it.
Yeah,
you need this in cash, correct?
Yeah, and none of your friends know about it. None of my friends. We just keep it all in a DL. And later you just see her out and she's fucking sucking on a glass dick.
Pleasure doing business with you.
James in Kentucky. James.
Hey, Ron. How would you categorize Hunter S. Thompson and gonzo journalism as an unreliable narrator?
Wow, that's a really great point, and I would have to say yes. You cannot believe him. I don't think he got that adrenal gland that he was talking about that had him so high. I think that, but that's the funny thing is, Thompson, there was a confidence that played into that whole deal that you never saw anywhere else. Like when he was being interviewed on Letterman, he wasn't making the slightest bit of sense. But then when he would sit down and write, you'd be like, well, it seemed like he was on top of this situation as high as he was. He's still, you got to agree with him politically.
Guy gets a wild ride.
Yeah. We're not like you. Let's break here. We'll be back. Who's stopping in today, Chris?
Mr. Mike Recine.
Mike Recine stopping in a little later. This is the Bennington Show.
This is Bennington on Raw Dog 99, Sirius XM's Comedy Club.
Yep. Tito beverage and Tito's vodka. Gil, do you remember that you asked me when you take a sip of the Tito's vodka and you were saying, how come it's so much better than all the other vodkas?
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
Well, I got to the bottom of it.
Really?
And I found out the special ingredient.
What is it?
Love. It's love. That's how they make it so great.
That's what he puts in?
He's been putting that in there since 1995. And that's why sometimes you'll hear me saying, tonight we're going to party like it's 1995. The reason why I do that is that's when Tito Beverage started Tito's Vodka and changed the world. I mean, if I was going to look back to the inventions that changed the world, Tito's Vodka, that cotton gin, printing press, probably, first Bible, Gutenberg, Whitney, Beverage. Those are the guys that I think turn things around. And now other people are going like, oh, I should start my own vodka. I go, well, good luck with it. You're a little late. You're 20 years too late.
And you can't top Tito.
How could you? Because he's got his pedal down to the metal. Love. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Love. Same thing you get when you get in that cotton gin. Feels like you're wrapping love around yourself when you put on a nice cotton shirt or when I'm reading one of Gutenberg's Bibles. And by the way, for some of you 80s fans, it's not Steve Gutenberg. It's another Gutenberg. But I believe still related. Yes, Tito Beverage was able to do something with Tito's vodka that the world had never seen before, and it was a craft vodka. The way that you see people doing it with beers and stuff now, to go off and do that on your own with a hard liquor, very, very difficult. I mean, you got to get into some real chemistry there. And I don't want to compared to Breaking Bad. But, you know, if he needed to, he could make anything. He chose to make vodka. And then to be able to turn that into the best of your world. That's what I can't get over. That you would put something together in your own kitchen that turns out to be the best in the entire world. I've tried that with my omelets.
They are pretty good.
Pretty good? I think they're right up there, 1%ers. And I'll tell you what my special ingredient is. You know what it is?
What's that?
Cheese.
Oh.
Makes everything a little cheesier. And that's why I would never attempt to make a vodka the way Tito did, because he does it better than me. If someone does something better than me, I'm not going to go out and try it on my own. I'm that simple. Like, if I have a car and it works, I'm like, why would I start my own car from scratch? I don't need to do that. You know? I don't need it. I get in an airplane, I'm like, this one will do before I go through all the things. Because I have a couple ideas about airplanes, too.
What's that?
One that flies backwards so that you don't have to turn it around on the runway. You land, the people get on, and it just starts flying backwards. You ever see the early biplanes?
Sure.
They could be with men planes or women planes. It was their choice. Gender fluid. But that's what I'm trying to tell you about Tito's vodka. It's a fluid, yes. But one that makes you feel comfortable, one that makes you want to call old friends, one that makes you want to think, what can I do with my life? And here's a guy who's not only he's making vodka, he's also writing songs and he's writing plays. I know you're a playwright yourself.
Yeah.
I got the perfect name for a play for you.
What's that?
Backwards Flying Airplane.
That's perfect.
I've been trying it, and they keep crashing, and then I figured out why. I got to put engines on both sides. You know? Or else I'm going to just keep going forward. And I don't want that. One thing I learned in life, bumper cars is fun, but not on the highway. And that takes me back to Tito's vodka. It's fantastic vodka, made by a fantastic guy. Make sure you go see that play. It's the only play that you're going to get Tito's vodka beforehand, too. What's the name of it again, Chris?
This Side of the Dirt at the Scottish Rite Theater in Austin.
I love that.
It's a great title.
Yeah, This Side of the Dirt. That's the good side, the side we're on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be on the underside.
Mm-mm.
You got to tour. You got to download Tour even to get there. Chris Stanley.
Yeah.
Hit it.
Tito's handmade vodka is distilled 6 times 100% corn and is naturally gluten-free. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. 40% alcohol by volume, handcrafted to be savored responsibly.
Man, this place is going crazy today because Kinky Friedman's here.
I know. I've never seen such a whirlwind of excitement.
I've had him on the show twice. He's an interesting storyteller. He's a great storyteller. He's also, you know, outlaw country guy. Also a writer of books. I think he ran for office down there in Texas. And I remember a time when he came in with Mr. Billy Bob Thornton.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're buddies. I forget what they were. I guess a book that he co-wrote with Billy Bob. But he's always a lot of fun.
And he's a good storyteller.
Everyone from Texas is.
Yeah. Because everyone's crowded around him.
Just
like
going crazy.
The campfire.
Well, I was bringing up Ron White, great storyteller. He's a Texas guy. Yeah. Texas guys love telling stories.
That's true. They have a good cadence.
Yeah, they have a good cadence. They tell their stories from a confident place, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You're all like, I'm going to tell you the best story you ever heard in your life. And you're like, oh, I feel good about that then. You know what I mean? There's not going to be, no offense to you, Chris, the awkward laugh.
Oh, good.
They're just going to in a manly style, tell their stories. Why did you give me back the Robin Williams thing? That's not being done anymore, right? It's just on demand?
Yeah, it's just on demand.
I'll tell you this, it's 6 o'clock today. It's because, we're starting a new station here called Comedy Greats, and Jim Norton is going to countdown the 50 greatest stand-ups of all time. 6:00 tonight.
You guys better check it out.
Now, I don't know whether this is Jim picking this out as like his own,
right?
You know,
has he curated the list himself,
or is he just happy to present the list? You know, we do Filtered Excellence, and we normally do some of that on Friday mornings. We're going to be on Opie Radio tomorrow at 7:00. Guess what did not make the list that's coming out this week?
What didn't
that we thought was going to be a phenomenal movie because the trailer looks so good.
What is coming out this week?
Straight Outta Compton.
Really?
Did
it
not
didn't make
list.
the list?
Yeah. Get a hold of Earl. See if I'm going to back that up.
See if he'll back that thing.
I thought it was going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very exciting trailer.
Yeah.
It instilled a lot of confidence in me.
Like a Texas storyteller?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a story about some boys running out of Compton. Used to call themselves NWA. Now, I tell you what that meant, but this is 2015, and it's a post-PC world.
He's so confident.
Yeah. I'll just give you the with attitude part of it. Most of you have said the other part under your breath. That's how Texas guys tell stories. Can't get a hold of them? Or won't get a hold of them?
They called and he got a voicemail. I'm texting him.
I never know whether you can't do something or you're playing Sudoku.
Is that what you're doing?
You got a lot of hobbies.
Hate Sudoku.
Why do you hate it?
Don't get it. I just hate those number boxes.
What do you play with on your phone then?
It was a game where you can kick field goals. That's pretty fun.
Jesus. Jesus.
Doesn't take a lot of smarts for that one.
I don't even like to watch that on TV.
Didn't think I'd get so into it. But I want to hit a field goal from like 65 yards out.
That's what you're doing on the train? Just kicking field goals
Just flicking up.
What do you mean flicking up?
It's like you did the balls on the screen, and then you flick it up with your thumb.
Why don't you take your school paper and turn it into a little triangle and just sit there and try to kick it at your friends?
Oh, yeah.
Not digital enough.
It is fun.
I see your buddy Julian Assange is back in the news.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy who went up and suddenly got forgotten.
Yeah, he's been spending the last 3 years in the Ecuadorian embassy in Britain, and now the statute of limitations is about to be up on all the charges he had against him in Sweden. So now he's going to be able to leave the.
He'll be able to walk right out the front door.
That's all it took is just 3 years of.
He was on the run for 2 years, but
Right.
so it's 5 years is the statute of limitations in
Right.
Sweden. So he spent the last 3 in that embassy.
But let me tell you how statute of limitations works in our country. Once they get charges against you,
Yeah.
the statute of limitations is over. Like, we don't have let's suppose, I think we have a statute of limitations for something like some sexual crimes that we have. But if they nail you with it and then you're on the run, it doesn't count with the statute
Right.
of limitations. It only comes out if they try to charge you 8 years after the fact or something. They'll be like, oh, too much time has gone by. But if they charge you 8 years ago and then you manage to evade them, that doesn't count.
It should, though. We should start having that count. The Sweden rule.
But it just encourages people to always run.
Yes,
Run.
everybody would run. All you got to do is 5 years. I mean, first of all, this guy basically did 3 years in an Ecuadorian prison. I don't give a shit what anyone says. You're locked in a fucking hotel room.
Right.
You know,
That's
you're
a prison
in fucking,
sentence.
yeah, you're maybe a better prison, but it's a prison nonetheless.
Yeah. I'm sure he must have been freaking out the entire time. He's 3 years in the same fucking room.
Why would he freak out? It's not that different from your life at home right now.
With your hobbies.
You got your little apartment box.
Yeah.
Then you get on your train box and you come here to your studio box.
This get some fresh air, though.
Where?
Outside when I'm smoking.
God.
This is why I'm glad you don't answer my texts, because you have fucking responses like that. So no Earl, huh?
Not answering his phone at all.
Oh, boy. I don't even know why I brought him up. There's a new Delco lager out that everyone's going crazy about.
That's right. Delco Lager from Delaware County, PA. Represent.
Representing in big ways. What's it called? Ocean City Beer?
So
Hey.
for Ocean City people.
You want hoagie flavored? We got hoagie flavor. We get cheesesteak. What are you looking for? Strawberries? Need some strawberries? We're all going in Longwood Gardens. Take a good look at them flowers. It's nice down there.
Something to drink when you watch the Eagles.
Really nice down there this time of year, you know? We like to go to Ocean City in the fall. A friend of mine's got a houseboat. We're going to have crabbing.
My friend was just in the Philly area, and he said that he heard a dad yell to his son. They were out in nature, and he heard a dad yell to his son, "Michael, look at the rhododendrons."
That's so funny. Scott in Canada. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Ronnie. I just wanted to make a comment about Straight Outta Compton. One thing that really bothers me is that social media campaign that's going on right now, where people will create their own straight out of, like, on top of their profile picture. And I just think it's kind of a slap in the face to what the movie should represent, because most of these people aren't even going to go out and see the fucking film. And I just think it's getting away from what the movie should represent, the struggle that they went through, and the amazing story of NWA.
Straight out of Booth win. Doing okay. I really thought I wanted to see this. This is the reason why I wanted to talk to Earl, is to see where it went wrong. But most biopics go bad. And even ones that people like, I can't watch. Like the Johnny Cash one, I could only watch that once.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it that much. There was nothing in it that made
Just
me
for
laugh.
no reason, he's like, hey, I'll walk the line. Wait a minute.
That's so great.
I could make a good song. June Carter Cash. Maybe we ought to start a TV show. You know, just like, stop it. Stop trying to hit every part of this.
All that happened at the same time?
Yeah. You know, I've been looking at myself in the mirror. All I'm wearing is black. It's like I'm a man in black.
That's how it happened.
There's some fucking 1980s Johnny Cash on the SNL show where he's just fucking nuts out of his mind.
Really?
Just wearing fucking thigh-high boots and looking fucking ridiculous. Seriously, he looks like Johnny Appleseed or some shit. He's just fucking crazy. And the sketches are just so nuts. And he does something
Wait, he's
like,
in a sketch?
oh yeah, because he hosted and was the musical guest.
Oh my God.
And
I've never seen that.
You see him just doing like 8-9 songs out of nowhere. It's just nuts. Yeah, you can't find it, right? So
Not
stop
finding it.
tapping along, deep fucking web. Stop worrying about it. The Julia son. There's some people that didn't even believe those sex charges anyway.
Right. I mean, initially, wasn't there something saying that what he did was, it was something like where oral sex is technically considered a sex
Also,
crime?
he took the condom off.
It was
or
without the
something?
condom. That was the big
Oh,
thing.
okay, that's what it was.
And it's sexual assault there.
Right.
You fuck somebody without a condom or bite the tip off. And over here, we just call it spreading the seed. You know, making sure rappers represent it, making sure NBA players have fucking babies in every goddamn on the road arena there are. I'd like to see just fucking Reverend Hour, one of those guys, just do something on pulling out. You know, pull out, boys.
Still feels good.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Blunty. That's Chris's big hobby that he's accused of all the time. Pulling out. Pull out your holy sperm. Because I guess his career was going so well, he just thought he had holy sperm.
Yeah, he must have been convinced somehow.
Yeah. I don't care if it's holy, dude. I don't want to eat it. How's that for you?
Haven't got a confession first. I don't have all the sacraments done.
Cosby's just got to be hoping that he gets rectal fucking cancer or something and gets out of this, you know, with something left.
He's just going to jump off a bridge or something.
I don't think he even knows how to do that. I think he needs something natural to happen to him. Who's that lawyer? She shows up for all these.
Gloria Allred?
Yeah, there's no stopping her. She's off.
She's all over it.
Yeah. He's fucked.
You know you're in trouble then.
You're like, really? Out of everyone? We brought someone in the box show. It's Mike Tyson. Oh, shit. No one else wants to box me? Look around.
There's so many other people here.
I don't get it, though. I don't get the Cosby thing. Wow. Do you think he'll make the top 50?
Has to.
Norton's top 50?
You think Norton will put him in?
I think he'll put him in.
I'm not even going to look into this. By the way, we don't know whether Jimmy's picking this or just doing it. I bet they don't. I bet we do not play him at all. Like, even if he's picked, you'd have to say, no clip available. That's my bet.
We simply couldn't find anything.
Oh, I don't think you would say that. It's just like, we do not support what he's done in the past. Now, retroactively, we find everything that every time he walked on stage, it just looked like a date raper to us.
Certainly, if Jimmy didn't pick the list, he's not going to be on. No one would say this is your number one comic.
Well, I mean, you can't pick out a list and Cosby isn't in the top 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Any list that would have Cosby lower than 5 is asinine.
Yeah.
And yet, when people talk about great running backs, OJ doesn't make the list anymore. And he was the first guy to go over 2,000 yards, and the NFL Films doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Does not mention it.
The Buffalo Bills of the 1970s did not exist.
Never happened.
This is NFL Films. Somehow the ball moved itself along 2,000 yards. We don't know how. Now, on to the Patriots. Yeah, no one brings up the way OJ could play football, and he was the juice. He was the best of his time.
Right.
He was the Gale Sayers of the 80s. 70s. Gale Sayers of the 80s is like after he fucked up his legs. Then he became that. A friend of mine actually walked him around his elementary school. Like, OJ came to the elementary school, and it was his job, like, to take him down. This is our auditorium and all that. It was the thrill of his life. And now, like, if he tells anyone that, people are like, "Ooh, you were with a murderer."
Scary.
No, I was with the greatest player in Buffalo history.
Did he hurt you?
Yeah. No. Did he stab you? Like, oh, you weren't a waiter then, so he probably didn't stab you at all.
Probably why he didn't.
So I say he doesn't make the list. Gail, do you think Cosby's on the list? Comedy greats. Remember, this is a brand new station. You think they want to open it with Cosby?
I think that he will not be on the list.
I'll be listening for this very reason. Stanley.
He's on the list.
That definitely means he's not on the list.
He's on the list. I'm all in on that.
What are you texting with?
I just got all right, so Sirius XM listeners voted in an online public poll for the top 10, and Sirius XM's comedy experts chose the definitive top 50.
So it's a listener-based top 10.
So
do you trust the listeners on this?
I wonder. If we do, we will know whether or not that this thing bothers them enough to take the workout, or whether they're like, no, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I don't see them saying Cosby. Don't see the majority.
No, I gotta agree with you. I gotta agree. I think it changes the way people see. You know, I mean, when I found out Secretariat shit all over a small child, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't like that horse at all now. They shit on a child until that child suffocated.
Oh no!
Yeah. Now here's the part of it, and see if this changes you. That child was also an illegal alien.
Okay, so
and
that
I know we're against illegal aliens now.
Right. And
Trump backers.
Secretariat could have sensed that, you know.
Hopefully, because it was a super horse. Just laid its ass over it and stopped it at the border. Build a wall around that child. A wall of shit. Secretariat, hero horse. You ever see when they try to act like a dog or something as a hero?
Yeah.
Like, I think you're using that word wrong. I don't think an animal can be a hero.
They can be heroic because they have disregard for their own safety.
But what if they don't understand because they're a dumb animal?
That makes them even more heroic.
I mean, I think you're heroic enough. Just let somebody ride on your back without kicking. Right. Actually, that seems the exact opposite of a hero now that I'm saying it.
Go ahead.
Get up there and I'll walk slow so you don't freak out and start to jump.
I think it makes them more heroic because like they're not doing it for the respect or the props.
I didn't think any hero did it for that reason.
Sometimes they do.
I don't think people running in, I'll get the respect now, running into this burning building. Are there jobs where no one could be a hero? Like, obviously, you can be a hero if you're a cop, fireman, sports heroes. People get mad about that, but you really are the hero of the game, you know? Obviously, people in radio, complete heroes.
Yes, that's for sure.
But are there, I mean, can you be, and I would say some gasoline, like some guys that work at gas stations are like heroes, you know?
Right, because then you don't have to get out of your car sometimes. Like if it's
and it's in rain and they're out there and they're, you know, bad weather and they're like, no, stay in your car. I'll take care of it. That's heroic deed. Or they're like, let me check that oil. Nope, your car would have blown up without this. But, and teachers they call heroes. What's that mean? You hate teachers?
No, I love teachers.
Then you're ready to vote for Chris Christie if you hate teachers.
He's my guy.
Yeah, sure.
What about like folks at like Con Ed? Can they get a hero thing?
I consider them heroes.
Because they're doing some scary stuff down there, trying to avoid explosions. Yeah.
Could you be a coal miner hero? Is just being down underground? Because I don't think I could do it.
Right.
I
mean,
let me take that train back up.
I think you'd have to do something in order to save someone in the line of work. But just going to work.
Doing that work every day is kind of heroic.
But I feel like people would not see it that way. They'd be like, no one made you be a coal miner.
Well, no one makes you be a cop.
Right.
You know, somebody had to say, I want to be a cop. I mean, if we start drafting cops, a lot of kids are going to be nervous.
Things are going to get weird.
Fuck, I just got drafted. I'm a cop now. And your family immediately starts and fucking treats you different. You ever been at a party and you find out someone's a cop and everyone changes their attitude?
Yeah.
It always makes me laugh. Like, oh, sorry, I didn't know you were a cop. I was talking about all the great weed I've smoked. I don't have any now. They're just like, I'm off hours. I just want to party. This is my Chris Stanley time. I'm not answering my text.
Or if you find out someone you knew when you were younger who used to be wild, like a cop, and you're like, what? That
I think almost
make sense.
all cops used to be wild when they were younger.
Yeah.
It's the whole point of becoming a cop. Like, you're already proven you're a wild man, you know?
No, I'm really wild.
Or a guy with a real stick up his ass. There's one or the other. There's no way, like, the wild cops get along with the guys with the sticks up your ass.
Yeah, they don't eat at the same table.
Yeah. And Kyle is always a couple days behind, and then he tries to write about stuff that we've already done. Like, he's on that Bernstein Bear right now. Like, I can't. He goes, wait, the guy didn't do it right. We've already moved on. Hey, John, what's up, buddy?
Hello?
What do you say, John?
Yes, sir. I'm calling about animals being heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a video you can look at on YouTube. It's about a little kid that was outside playing, and this dog come around the corner of a vehicle and starts attacking the little boy. And this cat comes out of nowhere and attacks the dog and runs him off. And you could pretty much very well say he saved that little boy's life.
Yeah, I did see this before. I didn't notice the vehicle. But all right, so a cat going crazy when a dog comes in its yard.
Yeah.
Is that a hero? Or just a mean cat? It just happens to be mean for the right reason this time.
Do you think that a cat did it for the love of the child? Because I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they do that.
First of all, would you please stop giving me thumbs up and just bring the gentleman in? It's going on too long. There's too much of this. Our buddy's here.
Mr. Mike Recine. Mike Recine's recording his album at New York Comedy Club.
Mike Recine!
next Friday, August 21st at 7 p.m. and 9:15 p.m. That's at New York Comedy Club. Go to MikeRacine.com for more information.
Over here is where we put Mike.
And on Twitter, it's at Mike Recine.
Good to see you again, buddy.
How you doing?
You know what? It's a very personal question, Mike. I'm not ready to, not ready to go that deep with you right now.
All right.
So you're putting out an album, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be an actual album? A physical album?
I don't know. Nobody really does that nowadays.
So what are you putting out then?
What?
What are you putting out? What do people get?
I guess they can download it or it'll be on Spotify. Everything's like digital now.
All right, but if it's digital, how isn't it a podcast?
It's not a podcast.
I think you're putting out a podcast.
No, it's an hour of stand up with an audience.
All right, so it's an album, but it doesn't physically become an album.
I have the option to do that, but I don't think I want to because nobody does that anymore.
No one's buying CDs.
No, I made a CD when I was like 21 just because I wanted to have one, and it's not very good. And I got 1,000 copies of it because that's the only way you got a price break. And now they're in my mom's house, and she's like, "I'm going to throw these out because I don't know."
Why don't you just sign them and hand them out to people?
You think?
Yeah,
because it's not good. I was like 21 when I made it.
At least the jacket.
There's a track that's only AIDS jokes. That's like where I was.
But what did you do this?
It's a rough
82
sell.
before people knew that it was bad to do AIDS jokes.
Yeah.
What were you? Why were you so deep into your AIDS humor?
I just had this bit. I mean, I don't do it anymore. I was like 19 when I wrote it, but it was about like if like some people say that AIDS started from monkeys, and some people said that it's such a terrible. I don't know why I'm saying this.
Yeah,
but it's
seriously,
like it's like. The bit is like some people say AIDS came from monkeys and some people say it came from the government. So what if the government made a monkey with AIDS and that's how all the gay people got it? That's how all the gay people got AIDS. Aren't you glad Fez isn't here anymore?
Oh, somewhere he was crying.
Yeah.
Somewhere he was crying anyway.
Right.
I remember I did a joke that, and this is how ancient it is, it actually used to fucking kill. People were very happy with it. And it was about Rock Hudson. And Rock Hudson swore for years that he wasn't gay.
Right.
And then he got AIDS and then he had to come out. Like when he had like 15 minutes to live, he came out and said, "Yeah, I am gay." And then he died the next day.
Right.
So I did this joke. I knew that Rock Hudson, was gay and that he had AIDS because I remember when he was fucking me in the ass, he threw up on my back. Now, just to let you know, what a pre-PC world. The fucking place used to go crazy. Everybody was like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever heard," because now it sounds like you're gay. You know? And literally, it was so well accepted that it was a drop mic moment. I'm out of here. Call my agent. Try to work your way so I can get to the car because people were running after me. And I still think it works. I still think
isn't that what comedy should be now?
Yeah.
Like, why has it gotten so that comics have to say stuff and your message? And can't we just go? Can't we just say fucked up shit now? And
it seems like you can, but you just have to get used to people being uncomfortable with it.
Right.
You're just not going to get the reaction. So I think a comedian just needs to start and laugh at the fact that no one likes it.
And it lasts longer, like because of Twitter, because people were recording things.
Yeah, that's the context.
See, nowadays you'd have 100 bloggers coming after you being like, "You have to take responsibility for the things you say." And it's like, no, you don't. Can't we just have a place where we say
just really fucked up shit?
Right.
I saw when you did Conan and you brought up that your brother had autism. I thought that people were like, like you were going into a joke instead of saying something real. Like if a comic even says something like real, people are like nervous for a second. Like, don't make us hate you.
I'm scared of my feelings.
I hope this isn't about a lot of bad autistic jokes. It's like easy.
I'm going to take care of you. I'm not going to freak you out.
I think that's why, like, we're almost weirder about any kind of handicaps at all now, because you can see people are nervous about them rather than being accepted. Like, this is the asshole in the wheelchair.
Well, people act like they can't be assholes, you know?
Right.
Just because somebody's handicapped.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, to be honest, most of them. And they have every right to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You could be a little grouchy if you'd like. That's all right.
Like, we had that guy, we're outside having a smoke today, and a guy is just yelling at traffic and shit like that. And that used to be a real New York fun moment when a guy was just fucking nuts on the street. But now you have to act like, oh, that's sad. This guy, there was a fucking car that went by and he, for some reason, thought it was a Mets parade. And he was yelling number one at them because they were on the back of a flatbed. And if we can't enjoy, I mean, I understand. I guess it's a sad thing that he's disconnected from this reality, but I still think it's funny to see a guy who's yelling number one, two guys on a fucking flatbed don't know what he means. And he just let the Mets win the fucking series, I think. But that can't be talked about.
Yeah.
That can't be enjoyed. Your brother's a card counter?
I wish. He's lower functioning, so there's like no.
You don't even
People
get
will
that.
ask me, is he good at puzzles or is he good at? But he doesn't really have. He's not a savant.
He doesn't get the upside of it.
No,
at all.
No. We got shafted.
Well, there's that autistic group that's got a metal band out. Now, did you see those guys?
They're a rock band called the Autistics in
That's
in the
a little
UK.
too on the nose, though.
But it's with an X at the end.
How's the
to
band,
make
though?
They're really good. They're really solid.
Well, you ever see those guys, the autistic guys that can play like amazing piano by the ear?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they heard a song once and they could just start playing it, which is fucking mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are like, you could say, oh, they have tons of heart and that's what's really sweet about them, but they are really talented. Like, if we started a band right now, it probably would not be that
They have
good.
Asperger's. They must be higher functioning.
See, that's what bothers me. People are acting like it's the same. You know what I mean? Like, I can't act like I'm bummed out and act like that's the same as being clinically depressed.
Right.
This thing of I'm on the spectrum, it drives me nuts when people act like, oh, I like a neat room, so basically I'm a little bit of, Asperger's. You're like, no,
Right.
you're not.
Yeah.
You just like a neat room, you prick. Stop acting like there's a reason for it.
People do use that with depression a lot, though. They're like, I am so depressed about this thing. You're like, oh, not really depressed.
We need another word for depression. Because the thing is, like, we've all been bummed out. You know what I mean? We've all like had 2 days where we didn't feel like doing anything, but you can't throw that into the kind of depression other people get, and that's why people with depression are like, yeah, I'm really depressed and I'm going to shrink. And you're like, why don't you just try riding a stationary bike?
Sure.
Get the blood pumping.
could
They're
be
like,
that.
it's not like that.
You know what it
Seems
is?
like it.
It's a little cloudy out. That's probably what has you so down.
Leeds is just walking by and just gave me a thumbs up.
Nice.
Something's working.
You got a nice
Now
thumbs
he's
up.
wiping his mouth because he went over and ate some of that Kinky Friedman food.
It's just giving you a thumbs up. It's pretty good. You gotta check that out.
Well, what is this, Iowa right now? The Iowa State Fair? This is when the people that we want to be president now have to make fucking candy apples for fucking kids for 3 days. They're flipping pancakes. And then if they don't, no one in Iowa likes them. I thought I liked him, but he didn't flip any of the pancakes. He's a dick. I'm going in the other direction.
A lot of power they have.
Yeah. Oh, I went to New Hampshire. Go to fucking New Hampshire. You'll go in any diner. And you'll see like Al Gore fucking pouring people coffee. Like the pictures are up of these shitty little towns that you can't even believe. They'll have like one place to eat. And you'll just see like Bill Clinton is in there with the fucking
Giving some
local
old lady a
hat
foot
on.
massage or something.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically, it's like going to Little Italy and seeing Marty Scorsese pictures, no matter what the dump is.
It's his favorite place.
Yeah. You're a Jersey guy?
Yeah.
You seem like a New York guy more than a Jersey guy.
I've been here like 7 years.
Yeah.
So.
Where are you living in New York now?
Bed-Stuy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You still doing the do or die Bed-Stuy thing? Is that where you roll with that?
I mean, it's like full of white people now, so I guess they say it. I guess we.
Yeah.
Just keep claiming it. Why not?
That's the funniest thing is like the neighborhood has gotten so nice. Where did the people who used to live there live? I don't know.
Not sure where they went.
Probably on the street
Just try
somewhere.
not to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're a very mixed neighborhood. We kicked out 75% of the people. There's always like that one, building because it's set up that way that it doesn't flip.
Right.
And everyone's like, don't go over there. Those people have lived here forever.
Right. Yeah, Bed-Stuy used to be a place that someone's like, oh, I have to go to Bed-Stuy. And I was like, oh, be careful. Now someone says they live in Bed-Stuy, you're like, oh, beautiful.
Bed-Stuy was one of the scariest things to say.
Yeah.
Red Hook was the scariest. Like if you would be in Alabama and you would just drop the name Red Hook, people are like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And now there's, Starbucks there.
Exactly. I like that there's like some really old ones. Like when we lived here, I worked on the Bowery. And I was telling my grandfather, like, that the place I work is on the Bowery, and he's like, watch out. That place has a reputation.
Yeah. Well, Bowery Bum was being used by people.
Yeah.
And just like the term Skid Row is an actual LA street.
Right.
That I guess was so bad that people in Iowa would go, he's like a Skid Row idiot, this guy. He's drunk like a Skid Row. Like a Bowery Bum, but moved out to Skid Row. And you're like, these are real places.
Right.
And I didn't even know it at the time. Like, I used Skid Row long before I know it was an actual block.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was for a very long time.
Yeah.
We're probably overdue for like a crime wave, though.
Here in New York?
One?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying Balasio's fucking bringing it back, and they showed somebody taking a shit in the middle of Times Square the other night.
It was his wife.
See,
come on.
That's racist because he's intermarried. He's intermarried. You'll be very careful. See, this is why your stuff is too, you know what I mean? It goes too far.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's going to land you in trouble.
You already recorded your hour?
New York Comedy Club?
Yeah.
Yeah, my cousin Emilio actually owns the place. He's
I didn't know that was your cousin.
We found out we're like fifth cousins through Facebook.
Okay, so all Italians are related.
Right. Yeah.
Well, he turned that place around.
He sure did.
Everybody was, well, I don't want to say used to say bad things about it, but they did. And now everyone's like, no, believe me, this is a good club.
Yeah.
You got that roast
It's
thing
such a
coming
great
up there,
room,
too.
though. It's such a,
They're doing that roast battle is coming there, too, I believe.
That's at the Stand.
But they're doing it both. Two different roast battles take place.
Okay.
Like, the roast battle isn't owned by both
Right.
sides.
So they're roasting.
There's
Roasting all over.
competing roast battles, I believe. You got is it Ariel Battle Roast? And that's at the New York Comedy Club. And then Brian Moses' one is going to be at the Stand. So it'll be really exciting here in New York to see who the roast battle winner is.
If you like roast, you're in luck.
What was the big when we went out to Montreal? Everybody was talking about the roast battle.
Yeah, with it was Jimmy Carr, I believe, ended up winning it all. And it was like a 4-day event of roast
But who
battle.
did they bust balls like? Oh,
Joe DeRosa.
Wherever you went, people were like, "Oh my god, did you hear about?"
I felt like I was watching the scene in a movie where like a fighter like kills the other guy. Like Jimmy Carr killed so hard. Like I got scared watching it because I was like, what if that was me in there? And then like
everywhere I went in Montreal, that's the only thing people were talking about.
Do you remember that movie The Quest with Van Damme?
Sure.
Remember when the guy from Mongolia kills the guy from Siam and there's Asian people screaming and throwing money around? That's what I felt.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
So where'd you see it, online? Or were you up there?
I was there, yeah.
Everyone was bringing that up like it was... And I'm like, well, DeRosa that isn't what he does full time. He's a comedian.
Right.
He's not a roast battler. They're like, I don't know if he can come back from this. Come back to what? Some guy's better at roasting than him.
You didn't see it, man. It was terrible.
A waitress was telling them this at breakfast.
You're about to roast?
Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it? Still not doing Anthony's podcast. I don't know. Those two were so close.
What happened?
Have you gone and done Anthony's new podcast? In his
I
green
did it
room?
at his house, but not in the city
He's
yet.
done with that. He's done with the house thing.
Yeah.
He thinks
Yeah.
that's stupid.
Yeah.
He's like, anyone who did the show at my house, you say now, don't even think you've done my show.
It's a whole new show.
Now it's all green screen. It makes you
Looks
feel like,
nice.
you feel like you're a weatherman.
Right. Do you have to
just
do
turn
things
around and start
opposite?
commenting on it. Because I was like, I think a plane's flying into that building. Because like, not just AIDS stuff, but I like to hit the 9/11 stuff too.
Right, yeah. You
Yeah.
got to keep it edgy.
Yeah.
It's a PC world.
It is a PC world, and I'm trying to be right in the middle of it. I want everybody to feel safe and comfortable, Well, except for the Jews. I want
Right.
them,
Keep them
I
on
want
their
them
toes.
to worry. I think we can do Jewish humor without pissing anybody off.
I think that should be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
There's timing.
I think they've been too comfortable for too long, you know?
Well, first of all, they are the chosen people. And we didn't get chose.
Yeah.
We had to convert.
That's someone you want to take down a peg. Someone who's the chosen people.
That's exactly true. That's like being, the coach's kid right off the bat. You're like, oh, that works out nice for you. But I know Christians that actually say this. They're born again Christians. And this is a friend of mine. And he said, no, the Jews, no matter what they do, they go directly into heaven.
Right.
And I go, well, then why did you become a Christian? You should have become a Jew. And then just lived any life that you want and get directly into heaven.
Like, wait a second.
Yeah. And now, do you know who doesn't believe the Jews are going straight to heaven? Jews. They're like, that's crazy talk.
Oh.
Jewish people don't even know what happens when they die. You go, what happens in according to your religion? They're like, I don't know.
Yeah, they keep it pretty vague.
Yeah. It's not something that they think or worry about.
Yeah.
Which seems nice to me.
That's a smart way to deal with it.
Yeah. Because I remember when I was a kid and we were learning, catechism, there'd just be, can our dogs come? Will there be rides there? Do we fly everywhere? Like the specific questions that we had around the afterlife proved that, like, sooner or later a nun would yell at you, well, maybe there isn't a heaven for all we know. We don't know for a fact. And the way you're asking all these questions, because we're just like, is Ben Franklin going to be there?
Yeah, that bugged me when they told me that your dogs can't go to heaven.
I hated that.
I despised it.
I had a rough night the first time I heard that.
Yeah.
I honestly think it made me question a lot because I'm pretty sure that they're going to make it. Dogs,
My dad always hated our dog, and he said that 2 weeks after our dog died. He was like, yeah, dogs don't go to heaven. And my mom was like, well, how do you know? And he was like, it's in the Bible. And she was like, where does it say that? And he was like, I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere.
It's in the back.
He didn't even know where it was. He just was he hated this dog so much that he was like, that thing's not coming to heaven.
I think the new pope said that it is. Now he changed his mind and they are going. Yeah.
He is progressive.
Yeah, he's progressive except for with women. That's the thing about him. He's progressive but still thinks that, original sin.
Well, they're last to get let in for sure.
Sure. Well, they made Adam eat an apple. So ruined everything.
Temptress, really.
Who would have think that really, like, consciousness and earth and physicality all came from a piece of fruit?
I know.
Somehow there was a spiritual piece of fruit.
Extra forbidden.
Yeah. Well, it's an apple that makes you know anything. Well, that's fruit I've never gotten before. That would be amazing.
Now, here's my question. Were there other fruits?
A banana that would teach you music. Yes, that was that. That was fine. Enjoy yourself.
Or is it the only fruit? And they're like, I got to try that.
There was only grapefruit.
But it was so shitty. And no sugar.
It was tangy. Well, that would be the stuff that would just, when you're a kid, they teach you Adam and Eve right off the bat. And you were like, talk to animals? What did he eat? Did he eat the animals? Because he just talked to them and now he's going to eat them. That seems intense. And the nun's like, look, you're getting too caught up on some of these details. You're locking into this.
Stop thinking about it.
And also, Adam and Eve didn't have any daughters. So their kids, how did they procreate? They didn't even have their sister to have sex with. They had to have sex with their mom. What's worse, you banging your sister or banging your mom?
Well, I think, didn't they say they ran off with mud people?
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
So where did the mud people come from?
Monkeys.
Yeah.
Basically, they immediately started having sex, I think, with AIDS monkeys.
I think that's where that...
I don't know. I mean, to tie this in, it seems like that's where AIDS started, with Adam and Eve's children.
So it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
We've had it for a long time.
I'll tell you the truth. It seems like we also focus a lot more on Eve. In my mind, I can picture out what Eve looks like. Like a real temptress, kind of sultry.
Yeah.
I can't picture Adam at all.
Yeah, I mean, everyone always thinks of Eve, for some reason, she always seems to have, wavy, salty,
wavy hair, unbelievable body.
Yeah.
Just a fucking shockingly hot body.
Yeah.
And lounging a lot. I don't picture her doing the dishes or anything.
No, she's
See her
very...
kind of lounging around on a rock.
Like a cat.
Yeah. There's Jeremy from the outlaw country walking down the hall. Big day for those guys.
They're very excited over there.
Wait, Chris, you want to do a plug?
Oh, yeah. Mike Recine is recording his album at New York Comedy Club next Friday, August 21st. There's 2 shows, one at 7 p.m. and one at 9:15 p.m. For more information, go to MikeRacine.com, and on Twitter, it's at Mike Recine.
Tickets are like $5.
$5 for this.
Yeah.
That's so cheap.
I just want people in there. I just want people who like comedy and aren't like European tourists.
Okay.
Because they're not the best audience members.
Well, I'm going to go there and laugh like this. So I can hear myself later on the album.
Right.
That's me.
That's me. That weird laugh is me.
That's me. You know, comedy albums was the only way they used to sell comedy in the old days. And I used to find those things to be the most mysterious things in the world. Like, it seemed to me it was cool that somebody had an album, but back then I'm like, how do you find out where someone does comedy? How does this happen? These must be the coolest fucking people ever that are going to a comedy show.
It was also exciting, like when I was a kid, buying going to Best Buy or whatever and buying a comedy CD. But people don't really listen to them anymore.
And I also think that it's better to listen to comedy than it is to watch it. I'm not even kidding you.
You think so? Yeah.
Yes, I don't even think it's close. I think when you're watching comedy, you're like looking at the stage and the audience. But if you're driving along and you're listening to comedy, that's where it really, that's where the arrow really pierces. Who did you buy? What comedy albums?
I bought a Patton Oswalt CD, and I thought that was really good. I mean, everybody had Dane Cook's CD, that first one, which is really funny.
You don't have to protect him with me. You know what I mean? I'm a fan. I like him.
All right.
I know a lot of people are like, Dane Cook, let me throw a joke in for no reason. I'm like, you just heard that from other people.
Yeah.
Dane's one of those guys, too, that it seemed like he made a non-comedy audience his comedy audience. Like, I feel like the Dane Cook fans weren't also fans of, Carlin or Pryor before that.
Definitely.
They just started with him.
Yeah, he spoke to a very specific group.
Right.
That I don't think anyone was really tapping into. Not for stand-up. I mean, certainly these are the people who would go to maybe big summer movies on the weekends and stuff like that, but...
And for some reason now, there's a lot of this weird, like, nerd stuff that's getting through, and you watch it and you're like, who's into this? It's almost hard for, like, for some comic who's, like, a regular guy to, like, break through and reach a bigger audience because you have people who just want to hear,
that audience might look at you weirdly because you're not staring at your own belly button for a half hour the way you do.
Right.
We got a break here.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and plug again because I don't want to get,
Mike Racine's in studio. He's recording his album at New York Comedy Club next Friday, August 21st. Shows are at 7 p.m. and 9:15 p.m. That's MikeRacine.com. For more information on Twitter, it's at Mike Recine.
We'll break right back. Bennington Show. Chris Stanley, I want to work on you, on your ability to live read, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to go off book.
Okay.
And I want you to read this without looking at it. Go.
Okay. Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. Started in 1999 by Tito Beverage.
Wait, let's go back to the year.
Okay. Started in 1995.
Yeah, 1999 is Prince.
By Tito Beverage. Yeah, that's his real name. And then he built his own micro distillery.
Well, you're paraphrasing now.
I don't have it. Okay.
Go ahead.
He had the idea of building his own micro distillery. And he racked up 19 credit cards to build his own copper pot stills and condensers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's also won a lot of awards, including a
I think the line is he's also won a lot of awards. You think he's done that?
I know he's done it. But he's been awarded a 95 rating by Wine Enthusiast.
You want to say it with confidence. You've got this stuff, but you're saying it without confidence.
He's been awarded a 95 rating by Wine Enthusiast.
Too much confidence.
Really?
You think? You're coming across as cocky.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, okay. And he won the Judge's Choice Gold Double Medal at the World Spirits Competition. And he won for Best Vodka Tonic.
You know that's not the saying, though.
He won the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic. And it's got a modest paper label on it.
And many others. He's won many others.
A lot of awards. Many, many other awards. And it's got a modest paper label on a simple bottle. So all you pay for is the great vodka inside. The amazing vodka inside. The exceptional vodka inside.
Yes, it's all happened.
All right, good. Okay, great. And, Tito still makes it where he began it all in Austin, Texas. Because that's where he started it all, in Austin, Texas. Tito's vodka is distilled 6 times from 100% corn and is naturally gluten-free. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. 40% alcohol by volume. Handcrafted to be savored responsibly.
That's very, very good.
Got it. That's for you, Tito Beverage.
You're listening to Bennington on Raw Dog 99, Sirius XM's Comedy Club.
Dude, they got cake over there. Somebody's just walking by with cake, Chris.
I'm going to find that cake.
Why doesn't Anthony got anything together for us? There used to would always be somebody like Anthony. Mike Recine is in with us right now, Chris.
Mike Racine's in studio. He's recording his album at New York Comedy Club next Friday, August 21st. There's 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9:15 p.m. Go to MikeRacine.com for more information.
Is the best show going to be recorded, or are you going to pick some from each show?
We'll probably pick some from each show.
Big J. Okerson did that album not too long ago I think it was called Hey, Where You From? Where he's just working the crowd.
Right.
Which I think is amazing because when you listen to the album, you're like, I can't see who he means right now. Right. I don't know who he's talking to. But you said that you had a problem with a member of our staff. Somebody on our staff is driving you crazy.
It's just Dan's cologne. Dan Perlman, who's a comic, funny guy. First of all, he wears his cologne every day.
Mm-hmm. Same cologne?
Yeah. And you can smell it from like 5 feet away. And there's something about it. I used to date this girl who had whatever she wore. It was either the same thing or it was similar. And it just feels like it just smells like some kid in Brooklyn like made it out of like pine cones and like lemon juice.
All right, what do you think he wears without
it smells like it's homemade.
I'm going to say, does Old Spice make a cologne?
Yes, of course they do. That's what they make.
Oh, yeah.
But it's some kind of thing that he got at Whole Foods or something.
I think it's body axe. I think he's body axing.
I bet it is actually not a cologne, but maybe some sort of natural deodorant.
So you're going to say that maybe it's not cologne, maybe he's sick and there's something coming through his pores.
No.
That smells bad that we don't know about.
I think he uses like a Tom's, like a very earthy
first of all,
Tom.
let's just go right away. Dan, do you wear a cologne every day?
I wear a spray. I wouldn't say it's a cologne, no.
So it's an after shower spray.
An after shower spray.
I'm going to look at this.
It smells like it was made in the woods.
Okay, so it's woody. It's a woody smell.
Would you describe it as masculine?
No, not even a little bit.
No. Is it something called twigs? Is that twigs and berries?
No, it's not. It's not twigs nor berries.
Now, why is it that you feel that you need this spray?
I'll tell you why. Because when I was 21 or something, a girl said who I was friends with said, as a friend, I'm just telling you, sometimes you don't smell great. So I made it my vow.
And now all the time you don't smell great.
That's not true. Listen, when I was getting my ID right here, maybe 15 feet from here, when I was getting my photo taken, you know what the woman said? You smell great. So let's all just
maybe there's something wrong with me. It's like a cilantro thing.
Yeah, but there's a thing too where you don't want anyone to notice your smell. That's with a man. Right. You don't want someone to say you smell great because what she's saying is you smell.
Yeah, she was 20 feet away from you, Dan.
When I was younger, she was saying I smelled bad, and I thought the same thing. I didn't know anyone had ever been smelling me. So if I'm going to be smelled, I'd rather it be good.
All right, why don't you come on in and let us take a sniff of this?
All right, give me one second.
Cartoon spray that you have on. This will be good for your new cartoon, too. This will be a great piece for you.
I think it's called Sprazies.
Now, I don't notice smell. I mean, it because I smoke cigars, it's got to be out there a little bit. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I think your problem is. That smell that you have, you still smell your underneath stank. There's a body. So what you're doing, you're not taking away your natural stank smell.
No, I wouldn't want to. You keep some natural element.
I do find there is something pleasant about it. It's earthy and woody for
Who are you
sure.
trying to protect?
It smells like it smells like if someone threw up on a mossy log. I don't know if that could happen, but you say you like the smell.
It's pleasant in the way that like maybe it smells like you walk into like an interesting shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Fascinating shop brand.
Did you smell it, Chris?
No.
Go over and
If
take
I
a walk.
if
Go
I
take a
smelled
walk.
that in a nursing home, I wouldn't be surprised.
That should be the name of it. It's called nursing
home.
Chris got uncomfortably
Yeah,
close.
it smells like
to
some
that
kind of like
smell.
industrial, like natural cleaner.
Yeah.
Chris's nose touched my neck.
I wanted to make sure I got a whiff.
You don't need
It
contact.
smells like
when you
Trader Joe's
smell.
dish soap.
I don't know whether you've ever been around anyone cooking meth, but there's something about that together.
It's like he's rubbing incense on him. It's not like
Yeah.
it's like it's just bathing in having a smoke bath of incense.
Maybe that's where I was getting like a nice shop. Like maybe it's an incense.
Dan,
or
I'm sorry we're
sage.
doing this to you, but this is how you learn on the radio in front of me.
To me, it smells like an old log, but a bear had pissed on it.
All right.
Is that the smell that you were going? Why did you pick that smell for yourself?
So it's Axe, and then one
I
thing
told
from
you
this
Axe.
other
You nailed it.
one
I
thing
told
from
you
this
it was
other
Axe.
store that's like a sea salt kind of thing. That I don't know, because I walked in and I said to the lady, "Hey, what's a good thing for men? Because it's
Salty
mostly
bear
for
nuts.
women." And she was like, "Yeah, get this sea salt thing," and I tried it, and it smelled great. And the
She said it's-
compliments, they've been off the grid. Off the grid.
It's for men, but it's also for women.
No. The store primarily focuses on women because, they always like smell bad and stuff. So they invest a lot of money in trying to preserve that. But me, I came in as a man, and she dictated me to that
Seriously,
corner.
Dan, you're acting like you've been on Earth for a week. Everything that you are saying.
I came in as a man because I am one and not an
Everything
alien.
seems like it's confusing to you. There are two parts of the store. One for men, like the bathroom.
Yeah. Encino Man over here.
Yeah, seriously. Like you're a caveman who just woke up, who doesn't realize you can't smell like a cave anymore.
I'm a caveman. That the one girl said that I smell like how a man should smell. Boy, man, what a compliment that was.
Yeah, I guess so.
Should be here at a farmer's market or something.
She said a dead man should smell.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, you forgot that part.
There's
left it
something
out.
white sagey, like as though you were covered in demons and you had to cleanse yourself.
Now we're all going to lick him and see what he tastes like.
And Chris came very close.
Come here.
Hoping the sea salt comes through there.
But what was your natural stink smell like? That your body was so filthy that your pores.
I don't know. But I'm glad that my friend said that those years ago, because that's in the past. And now it's just great smelling from here till death. No stopping. I have no regret. Mike's the only one who gives me shit for it. Everyone else is either silent or overwhelmed with
Why
joy.
I'm the most honest person pointing it out.
What?
You trusted the first friend who told you smell like stank, and now you have another friend telling you that you smell
Right.
horrible, and you're
It's
ignoring
like my
him
word doesn't
completely.
mean anything.
Yeah.
No,
because the problem is there's a new generation of comics who they're just nice and supportive to each other,
Right.
and they'll never tell them.
Right.
And I'm from that older school
Right.
where
I just don't think Recine would ever say, and I love Recine. I don't think he'd ever say to me, "You smell really nice today." So I think by even commenting on it, it's
not true.
It's just a compliment. Who have you said that smells nice? Give me some great smelling people.
My grandma smells pretty good.
I don't believe
Your
that.
mom smells pretty good.
So you went to your mom thing.
Are you?
You know who smells great, and you could maybe learn something
Oh yeah,
from this person.
I'm always
This
willing to
person
learn.
is a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
One Mr. Jeffrey Gurian.
Really?
Always has a very nice cologne on.
Well, he wears a cologne called Old Jew, and
that works. That works
yeah.
for him.
what you smell there is dental chemicals
Nitrous.
And the lime that he keeps in the trunk.
He just smells like the last girl he raped.
He's delightful, though.
I'm pretty sure that his heart would give out before he finished a rape. I always thought that he smelled like Joe in the other room. Like, so you think that that he smells fantastic?
Yeah, he's a very nice cologne. I don't know what his.
It's called Desperation.
For men.
Yeah. Could you pose for this? It's called, please. I'm trying to get a picture just to let everyone know I'm alive.
Comedy matters.
Yeah, it does matter. Now, if we can get 8 of us all in here together. Chris, can I get a picture with you? I haven't had one for 20 minutes.
The waist up, is that where we should do this from?
Oh, God. Is that sexual talk?
No.
What does that mean?
Pictures from the waist up.
Joe, what did you get to the bottom on that cake thing?
There is no cake. I think that was a personal cake from my gathering for that one individual.
She had 2 plates. You're not bringing that for fucking home.
Maybe
Come on, Chris.
Lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
There was a spread. I saw a spread.
Yeah, we saw a spread down there.
Find that cake.
Andy has lost it, and I'm ruining his chances to get to be hired by. Who's looking to hire him?
Promotions.
I'm going to call them and just fucking blast him.
Yeah, right. We probably saved his job. You? Yeah.
Hey, Black Girl.
Buddies.
How are you, buddy? Listen, I heard that you did not like the Straight Outta Compton movie.
I want to be fair. I've heard of it. I haven't seen the film yet, but I've heard from people I trust that it's very redacted. There's a lot left out.
You chose to filter it out.
What did they leave out? Dre? They forget about Dre?
No.
Y'all forgot about Dre.
Can't forget about Dre.
Yeah.
Well, apparently MC Ren is barely in the movie, and he's one of the members of the group. And also, they completely leave out the whole D. Barnes incident, where Trey basically made her a punching bag.
All right, but so your point is that they didn't have every single fact in the movie.
That's a big part of the NWA story.
React. A movie is an hour and a half. That's the problem with a movie.
There's not enough time.
Yeah. Like, if you have a Civil War movie, there's not always going to be enough time to even bring up that there were slaves. They're just going to say, look, a bunch of guys from up north beat up.
Why are they fighting?
Southern guys.
I don't understand.
Ken Burns had to cut that. He only had 14 hours.
Yeah. It was brother
These
against
northern
brother.
guys are really aggressive.
Yeah. They come down here for no reason.
Why are they telling them what to do? I don't understand.
The photo pans across, and then it stops right when it gets to a slave. It just cuts maybe
when I was 15, I almost became a Civil War reenactor.
Is that right?
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have a strong dad or anything. And we went to a reenact. I almost joined this unit. I went to their Christmas party and everything, and I never went through with it.
Laziness kept you from being the total nerd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What stopped you? Oh, what side were you going to be on?
Well, he was going to bring in a fucking Star Wars outfit.
That's when he said, "This is not for me."
Yeah.
I'll take my membership elsewhere if I can't dress up as Darth Vader.
Earl, I'm going to ask you as a black man. You know about the whole slavery thing, right?
Yeah, I heard about it. I know a few things about it.
Do you think that after all these years, it's time for black people to thank the North? Because, they always bring up, we didn't get our, 40 acres and a mule?
40 acres and a mule.
But I don't think the Blue Bellies even got a simple thank you.
No, the North, the North had its problems.
Well, slavery wasn't one of them.
But I don't think they really cared. I don't think they were fighting for that.
What were they fighting for?
To preserve the Union.
Well, I always remember what Martin Luther King said. One of his worst civil rights campaign was in Chicago.
Right.
And he said, because I witnessed more racism in Chicago than I ever did in the South.
Was Illinois even part of the North then, or did we already move over that far?
I don't think were we that far west.
No, I like when West Coast was Pittsburgh. That's when I was comfortable with this country. You know what I mean?
East Coast or West Coast?
When people, that's the same way I feel about the country is how I feel about Pennsylvania. Those West Coast people are fucking crazy over there. They eat their food the wrong way. So you don't think that you should owe us a thank you?
I think it's been a thank you enough, but
I'd like just to get one out loud. Just a nice thank you.
On
What, a national day of thanks for the North?
Yes.
That sounds
For the
great.
white North.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Can we trade up? Can we have a national day of I don't know, a reckoning or atonement? I don't know.
Yeah, I
In
think the South
exchange
should have
for-
to do that.
Yeah, that's their problem.
That's not really our problem.
Yeah, they got it. They should apologize to you. You should thank us, and then we drop this thing once and for all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a start.
Would this make you happy too, Earl? That maybe on the money, if we would just put slaves on it?
I don't.
I think that would make everybody even.
Take the deal, Earl.
Yeah.
I know this.
Will you
talk
take
about
it?
Harriet Tubman on the $10 bill?
No, someone less famous, like Kunta Kinte. Somebody like that. Just have a Kunta Kinte fitty.
No, I mean, see, I would trade up for something, like a Native American, maybe.
What? Oh, because you think that you're 1/16th Cherokee?
No,
Every black
they
guy
were
always
here
tries
first.
to give me some small percentage of Cherokee that they are. No one's ever happy.
Nah,
Do you think black people should get casinos like Indians do?
Hey, it worked out for the. It worked out for the.
It worked out well.
It worked out very well for the Seminoles.
Yeah.
Did great.
What would you like the black people to get, Earl? To just finally even this thing out, make it all okay.
I couldn't even put a dollar amount on it. I couldn't put. I don't know. Maybe an original agreement, 40 acres and a mule. I don't know.
What are you going to do with a mule?
It's time to renegotiate.
Yeah.
Just stick with the original contract.
Why would you say 40 acres in a fucking Volkswagen? Something you could use. 1968 VW Bug.
That sounds great.
I know.
40 acres in a truck. Nice Jeep. I don't
How about
know.
a $25 Target gift card?
Would you take that?
Do
If
it.
every black person get a $25 Target
gift
gift card.
You can buy 2 albums with a gift card.
Okay.
That's pretty
better
good.
than nothing.
That's pretty
Great
good.
deals
Yeah.
at Target.
Yeah. Or if we just change the money into Target dollars, but there's slaves on it. I would love just to put something different on money. I'm so tired of looking at the same fucking people.
Yeah.
How about like Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass?
Now, Booker T invented the peanut, right? That was his thing? He came up with the peanut?
That was Carver.
Okay,
Carver.
George Washington Carver. When did Booker T had the MGs?
Not that Booker T.
Okay. Just Green Onions. I always loved that song.
It's one of the greatest groove band of all time. But,
Yeah. And who was the other guy that you liked?
Was it Booker T. Washington? We got, Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois. We could put some pretty prominent.
I would have no idea. I would have no problem at all. You just put all those people on money.
Yeah.
I think it would be, if that would, I mean, first of all, I don't know if anything's going to solve it because you just had the presidency for 8 years and you don't feel happy.
I'm good with, what? Everyone keeps, the Obama presidency, everyone, the country didn't dive into, third world status with him as the president, as everyone predicted it would.
All right, so let's say this. Where would you rank Obama all-time greatest presidents? Where would you put him on the list? Did he make the upper half?
I would, considering what the country was and where we are now.
Yes, that's what we would consider.
Use that to make your decision.
I'm not going to say top 5.
Okay.
I love whenever this question's asked, like, the worst or greatest president in history, as if everyone's familiar with all of them.
Right.
Of like, well, he's no James Polk. So what the fuck do you know?
There's going to be a lot of middle ones that
Yeah, there's a lot.
interchangeable.
It's like 30 I know nothing about.
Is he better than Chester Arthur?
Everyone says Hoover was the worst.
Okay. So he's one ahead of Hoover.
That's for sure.
But
where would you
but
put
Obama
him?
was not, disaster. Bush was a disaster, unmitigated.
Right, but we're asking you to rank Obama. Where would you put him?
I'm thinking Lincoln.
His slave thing again?
I would say 5 or 6.
5 or 6. All right, top 5 or 6. Now, the thing is, you got to give Obama this. He didn't come in with slaves like Lincoln did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that would be easy enough to get rid of slaves.
Sure.
If you showed up. Like if I showed up somewhere and there were slaves, I'd be like, "We got to stop this."
This is a problem. This is a problem.
The fact that Lincoln was the first to think of it is the embarrassing part. That's why everyone behind Lincoln should be probably pretty much in the bottom, including Washington and Jefferson.
They all like slavery. They all like fucking enslaving human beings.
Yeah, like Jefferson is probably the most revolutionary, but the guy, dude had slaves.
Who's that?
Jefferson.
Yeah, you like Jeff, but he also had little black babies, right?
He had a lot of them.
Yeah.
Him and Sally Hemings.
Never pulled out. They always said that's what it said for Jefferson. Never pull out. This is big addition.
He took it very seriously.
Yeah.
I think
So you would put slave owners even above Obama?
No, I mentioned, Lincoln, John. I really like President Johnson. Kind of screwed up at the end. Screwed up a lot.
Death marches.
He had it.
Took his right into Vietnam.
He had it till the end. He went into Vietnam in the last lap.
Well, he did like a lot of civil rights things, and you like that.
Civil Rights Act, Voting Rights Act.
Yeah.
Those are that's two biggies. But then Vietnam didn't tapped out.
Tapped out.
We should make the world's worst school movie with Earl. He's teaching kids, but it takes forever, and he keeps. He tapped out at the end, kids.
Should I take notes on this?
Billy in Florida wants to bring up Dan Stink.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Billy.
Hey, what's up, Ronnie? It's Fuck.
Hey, what do you say, dude?
How you doing, man?
What can we do for you, Fuck?
I'm sure you all remember the Thanksgiving show.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember the Thanksgiving show.
I sat next to Dan, and for as long as it's been since that, I had been like that stink has stunk. It stuck with me.
Oh, this little fucking rat. Listen what happens.
I'm serious.
Look, dude, you tweet at me when I'm on the show. You're like, fuck you. And then when we meet in person, you're like, whoa, Dan Perlman, like we're old friends. And you're being
doesn't change the fact
all nice to me. And now we're afar again, and now you're pretending there's some smell. I like you, fuck. Don't, you gotta be nicer this Thanksgiving, okay?
That doesn't change the fact that you smell.
He didn't say anything about that.
Whether he likes you or not,
can we sit together?
Look, everybody hated Hitler, but the guy smelled like fucking peaches. I mean, he had a wonderful smell.
That's what I've heard.
That was the luck of the draw.
They didn't have his scent in the store. Interesting shop.
So you thought that it was a terrible smell all night? Fuck.
I didn't know where it was coming from. It wasn't that bad, honestly. It was just very pungent.
Can you describe the smell?
He saw me like sniffing it out, like my nose in the air, and we made eye contact, and he kind of got all small and like shameful.
Oh fuck! Listen,
and you can smell it from like 3 feet away, right?
There's liars and there's fuck, and that's just where you're taking it to a new level.
And it's not a bad that you smell like Legionnaire's disease. So what? It's just an odor. It's nothing to be upset about or happy with. You sleep in your clothes, right?
All of them.
Okay.
The whole lot.
So that's fine. Earl.
Yo.
What do you wear to mask your natural aroma?
I use what's that, Axe spray, whatever that stuff.
Really, the Axe spray is big.
It's popular. It's in a lot of stores, yeah.
So you basically smell like Dan Perlman. Has anyone ever brought it up to you, your smell, Earl?
No, never.
Because Earl only eats white foods. Like he eats mashed potatoes.
Okay.
He only has 7-Up. He's a very clear food because of your stomach, right, Earl?
I like starchy. I like starchy food.
We were all out to a place, and the boss is buying, and Earl ordered a baked potato with a side of mashed potatoes. We're like, how do you like to eat that way?
It's mush, dude.
He just can only eat a good starch for himself.
So much energy.
Yeah.
It was like rocket fuel.
See, I thought that your jaw was just tired, and you didn't want to bite into anything. Well, Earl, you let us down with this Straight Outta Compton because I was really going to go see it this weekend.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I was never a big NWA fan. I thought they did better work after they broke up.
I don't know. That fucking first album was pretty shocking. The world was shocked by that album.
You know, I maybe because it's an East Coast thing. But I always thought like the East Coast guys made better records.
You're gonna end up getting a shot. Just saying.
He made better records. And
I thought your favorite band was Bitches with Problems. What happened with them?
No,
It's Lincoln. He likes Lincoln.
Lincoln with Problems. I like Lincoln for freeing the slaves. Johnson for giving some extra rights to those slaves.
And then NWA and Obama are probably tied.
Did you like John Kennedy at all?
It was a mixed presidency. He was kind of slow on civil rights.
Slow. He didn't even. Yeah, he didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
He was like super on the fence about it. He was indifferent about it. He did enough. He didn't, but he never pushed legislation across.
Right. So the only thing that matters to you is black rights. Nothing else has come up.
Well,
the economy.
Civil rights. It's the cornerstone of what we call this country. And most presidents, up until Johnson, decided to kind of let it go.
He doesn't even bring up how long it took women to get the vote because that doesn't show up.
We got it after 19th Amendment.
No,
blacks got the right to vote before women.
Yes.
I think we should take it away.
Everything John Lennon said was true then. John Lennon was dead on. I can't say it because Earl's here, but that song was dead on, Earl.
He had a point.
Yeah. Earl, I got to end this one here today. And let's face it, you stole all Mike Racine's Sticky Dan talk, which we were enjoying in a big, big way. Sticky Dan, could that be your new name?
How do you think?
I just don't think it applies, just given the compliments that outnumber Racine's criticism.
Well, wouldn't you like the name Sticky Dan, the guy who stinks, as your kind of radio name? You're not going to use it. I mean, we're not going to cut a check that says that.
Right.
And on the air, we're
not legal.
Sticky Dan, the guy who stinks.
I'm happy with Dan.
Okay. Smelly Dan? The guy who smells a lot?
What about pungent?
I like that.
It's I like that word more. But again, I don't think I want any of these labels.
Or Dan Oder.
Danny Odes.
Odes?
Right? Yeah.
If we cut it to Odes, then people might forget what it is. But I like Perlman. It's
Joe,
my
you're
name.
in there with him all day. Did you smell it?
I've kind of grown accustomed to it at this point. I can't, kind of
like a guy
forced.
who works in a mushroom house, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There used to be a lot of mushroom houses out where I lived, and you said, guys, but you stand in the cow shit. He goes, really? 10 minutes into it, you don't even know it's cow shit.
Oh, yeah.
They go, every
Get
day you
used to
got to
it.
get used to it, and the rest of the day's fine. Still got to wear boots, though.
Yeah.
No matter where you go.
She's living in a world of shit, though. I mean, get used to it.
I am in a world of shit. Why don't you read a nice thing for them? I mean, you do it for Tito's. Why not do it? Why not do it for our man Mike Recine?
Mike Recine, he's recording his new album at New York Comedy Club next Friday, August 21st at 7 p.m. and 9:15 p.m. Go to MikeRacine.com for more information. On Twitter, it's at Mike Recine.
You got a name for this yet?
Not yet. I don't know.
I like the idea of just Mike Recine is hilarious, and that should be just the whole title.
It's a good one.
Maybe think of you with your thumb up.
I was thinking of calling it People Are Crazy, and it's just me like,
Who's this guy?
Oh, it seems fun.
Who's the guy who came up with the escalator?
no, it's just an old lady pushing me in a baby carriage.
Oh,
That's going to be the cover of it.
Great. Danny Otis, what do you got coming up?
I'm at QED tonight. There's a club in Astoria, and then
Is that Queen Elizabeth?
Queen Elizabeth, and then a couple shows at the Creek and New York Comedy Club this weekend.
Where's your home club, though? What do you consider your home club?
I'm at Standup New York a good amount, but I don't know. It's mostly like bar shows, just hopping around wherever.
You jump around.
Jump around, yeah, like the best smelling man in town.
That's right.
Gail's favorite, Mr. Jeffrey Gurian.
That's right.
I got to smell him next.
I'm definitely going to smell when I see him.
Mm-hmm.
What about Chris Stanley's old tequila and
cigarettes?
Yeah.
Sweat.
Oh, yeah, that's good. So I know he's coming down the hall.
There's alcohol somewhere around here.
I know this. Chris smells differently every time he sees a cop. He gives off a certain odor.
It's pheromones.
It's his desperation. All right, that's it for us.
And on Comedy Greats today at 6 p.m., Jim Norton counts down the 50 greatest stand-ups. That's at 6 p.m. East. That's on Channel 94, Sirius XM Comedy Greats.
I'm going to give away a little hint here. Mike Recine makes it. You're in the top 50.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
That's
that's
huge.
of all time. Well, we had to get rid of Cosby because of the rapes.
Yeah.
It was the rapes that made it so bad. Who else is in it? Who do you think is definitely top 5?
I'm gonna say Seinfeld. I bet people voted for Seinfeld top 5.
Carlin will be top 5.
You know, the thing about Seinfeld is he never put out a lot of albums. You know what I mean? So it's hard for them to play his bits over there.
And also Cosby, I mean, just because, I mean, aren't they two separate things? Isn't he still a great stand-up?
Well, you know, they're taking it all away from him now.
Well, somebody, like I was on Netflix the other night and somebody, Annie Hall was like 3.5 stars. It was rated 3.5 stars, but that's not a 3.5 star movie.
No, it's a 5-star movie.
That's the only comedy to ever win Best Picture.
Yeah.
And now we have to be dishonest because he might have molested somebody?
Yeah. Now we have to lie and say, I never liked that movie because of all the molestations that took place a few years after that. I mean, even at that point, he definitely hadn't molested anybody, whether you believe he had or not.
That was yeah.
All right, so you believe he'll make top 5? Bill Cosby will be on.
No, I don't think he will.
You think the people turned on him?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he'll make the top 10 because that's what the fans voted on.
Do you think he'll make the top 50?
Yeah, I think he'll be right outside.
But
of
if a
that.
comedian picked it, you would think they would say, "Hey, I'm still going to look."
My
at
belief
these.
is he's not even in the top 50. I'm saying that without even checking.
I think Louis will make top 5.
Oh yeah, Louis in. Louis probably going to be called the greatest of all time right now because people only look back 5 years.
Right.
That's most people's ability to look back.
Those are
It'll
their
be
favorite-
Louis, Burr, Patton Oswalt, all time. Just happened to happen right now. I live in the best time. Crazy that there are.
Obama's the greatest president ever. Then
Well-
probably George Bush second.
Yeah. After that, then I think Clinton's, kind of a distant third. Then I got no one else. And literally, they're like, what's the best TV show? They'll pick something they saw last night. I saw this last night. It's probably the greatest of all time. Big Bang Theory. I bet Cosby doesn't make the top 50. That's my prediction, and I got nothing to go on it. But I want everybody to check after the fact.
Yes.
Yes.
To see whether I'm right or not. I say he's not even in the top 50. That's how far you drop with this. All right. That's it for us today. We're on at 7 a.m. tomorrow on Opie Radio.
That's right.
Doing the slot there. And then we'll be back here again tomorrow afternoon. And then we'll see you all again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!